Houston, our instruments are showing that we have a incoming message from deep space. Repeat, Houston, we have an incoming message from deep space. Houston, we'll begin playing message now. Houston, we're going to try and translate that up here. Hold for translation. Translation complete. We'll begin playing message now.
Hey, it's me, Melissa.
What do you do when the aliens invade? Take a shot of MK Ultra and watch Melissa Jade. Put on your tinfoil hat and tune right in. We got that crime spree, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, a complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects, a mind expanding, fake moon landing, what it all been understanding. It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Aliens is on the sun or in Area 51. Time travels, unravels, haunted castles, cops are baffled, potential experimental thoughts that make you transcendental. It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Crime sprees, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects, a mind expanding, fake moon landing, what it all been understanding. It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa.
Hello, you guys. I am so sorry. I swear I moved this to 10. And then just when I was like getting everything ready, and then as I was getting into StreamYard, it showed 9:30, and I was like, oh my God. And so I am so sorry to leave you guys sitting there. I swear. But to be fair, I moved it while I was napping, so I may not have pressed save because I was napping. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I did it earlier and I'm so sorry. And I did not mean to leave you guys there. So I apologize greatly. I thought I was coming on 5 minutes early, honestly, not 25 minutes late. So I'm so sorry, especially for our members, So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I never did get the 9 p.m. notification, but it was still showing 9:30. I swear, because I know I originally had it at 9. I pushed it actually twice because then when I was taking the nap, I'm like, all right, now I need a weird amount of time after I wake up from a nap to like prepare. I know it's weird, but like I have to wake my ass up and like kind of like, I don't know. So I was like, all right, I'll do a later one because I'm getting a nap in. And I clearly never clicked save. And this has happened to me before. So I apologize. I'm so sorry to leave you guys waiting like that. At first we were just joking. Then we started getting really worried. I'm so sorry. Guys. I did not mean to do that. But hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for waiting. I can't believe you guys waited like that. I would have just said, screw this, man. But hello. Happy Members Only Monday. How are you guys? Thank you so fucking crazy for being a member for 2 months. I finally made it for the beginning. Yeah. Well, technically, yeah, you couldn't have missed it since the beginning was supposed to be 25 minutes ago. Technically, so you would have been late if I went on time, technically speaking. Okay, hold on. Okay. So, all right. So I just kind of wanted for this live because there's the big discussion of, oh, thank you, Christina. And yes, I see all of you individual. Blame it on, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. Thank you, MK. We still have daylight savings here on Eastern. So technically it's only 9. Technically, it's only 9. So I'm still early in this time zone jump ahead thing. All right. So if we want to be technical, it's still 9 p.m., not even 10 p.m. my time. Okay. So let's just deal with that. But no, really, the whole day, everything since yesterday has been messed up with the time change. But okay. So I wanted to keep going with, I'm not going to be addressing the dot stuff anymore, like unless like for some reason like I have to mention it in passing. I gave Dot all the opportunity to send receipts. I've given Dot more than enough airtime as far as giving them a chance to share their side. I think it's only the fair thing to do, and not that I believed Dot anyway, since they were a proven liar to begin with. But Dot never came through with the receipts. So yes, Dot doesn't even go here. So I'm not going to be focusing too much on Dot moving forward. And like I said, I'm only going to mention him if it comes up for some reason, like in connection with the case, but not focusing on it. And so I wanted to keep on going with the Kim and all of the what I consider to be trolls surrounding this Idaho case. But I will just say this regarding the Dot thing before I move on, because my mission is to get to the bottom of this, to get to the bottom of what's really going on here. Okay, right? Who are these people? Are these people that each individually have their story and decided to speak out and make these claims for one reason or another, and then along the way it just snowballed? Or are they part of this bigger behind the scenes group thing going on? From what I can gather, and from a live stream that I did watch, but not on on the YouTube world, it was on the TikTok world, the other night after my live. From what I can gather, I do not think Dot is directly associated to this specific case, versus Dot has an extensive history with this. It goes very far back. It intertwines with other cases. And so that it's scratching off my list, not 100%, but most likely, scratching off my list as far as, was this person brought in with a motive specifically to spread misinformation with this one case? I'm more inclined to believe not, based on what I did hear on a TikTok live last week. Okay. That's what I'm gathering. Character analysis. He's not, nobody sent him to Brat. Right. So it seems like this is just something that is repetitive and consistent with him, not specific to this case at all. Now, where I had the concerns was these people overlapped. Kim overlapped. Justin overlaps, because what I will say is this. Some of the screenshots that I was sent by Dot consisted of other people's conversations, including Justin. So obviously logical thinking would ask, well, how would you obtain somebody else's private conversations? It's going to be either one of the two parties within that conversation. Since you are adamantly against the one party in this conversation, and the context of the messages shows that they were not in support of you anymore, I'm assuming it is Justin who gave you these messages. So right there, my little mind goes off with, all right, you overlap with Justin. You have communications with Justin. So that part did bother me, because are they connected? Like I said, that's what I'm trying to understand. Are they connected, or along the way did they each have their own, hey, this person started speaking out for whatever reason, this person started making up this story, and then along the way they just gravitated towards one another because they were all lying? I don't know. All I can say is what I've learned as far as Dot, is that this is not unique to the Idaho 4, that this has been happening previously in the past. Okay. So we're going to go over some more Kim stuff. We're going to go over, like some more of the panels that she's been on. Hi, Deets. But I did want to address something else. So you guys know there was the whole alleged leaked messages. Yes. Yes, I have, Nick B. Nick, too bad for you. I actually have. It was right before I had Brett Kopaka's best friend Darren Duncan on for an interview. I addressed Crime Circus, a video or live before that. So, okay. I do not believe that they were faked. This is what I want to address, because I'm seeing. All right. When the leak occurred, like however it occurred, whatever it occurred, I don't know. When I went over them, I specifically said, I cannot verify 100% that these are legitimate, but I'm inclined to believe that they are. There are numerous factors of why I feel that way. I've gone over them with you guys. We have the fact that Brat literally was on a TikTok live stream. I believe it was TikTok. And this is before there was a message leak with this screen recording. Yes. And this is back when people still questioned whether or not Brat was speaking to Steve. And so I don't know if she's on a phone call on speaker or there's somebody on the panel with her. And I apologize, I'm not super familiar with the TikTok world. But all I know is that, and I don't know if it's maybe Sonia's video. Like I watched somebody's video that has it, and you're watching Brat on camera and she has her laptop in front of her, so you could see her and you could see her laptop. And when you have a Facebook open on your laptop and then Messenger, so the Facebook profile is in the background and then the little Messenger just pops up at the bottom, so you could see her whole account in the background and you could see the little Gonzo Messenger app pop up. And the person is questioning, who's Gonzo? Who's Gonzo? Like, you claim you talked to at the time, people didn't know the Gonzo account was indeed Steve's account. So just because it wasn't his name, she was getting questioned heavily over it. But she is actively scrolling with her finger. I think it was touch screen. So you can, now she's going very fast, but if you slow it down, she's actively scrolling. So this isn't a matter of, is this screen recording fake? This was already shown prior to that. And she is scrolling through her Facebook messages, and you could watch her on the screen do it. Okay. That's one factor of this. 2, the context of the messages. They parallel what was coming out and what was going on in the community at the time. So if you look at the context of the messages between Brat and Steve, allegedly, Thank you. Okay, Deeds. Okay, you know, I'm going to pull it up then because I want to show you guys. And thank you, Carrie653, for the super sticker. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Then let me see if I could pull it up on Sonia's, because which one is it though? Was it in the long video I watched? I have it up. I think it was yes, here's the video. Bam. Okay, I'm going to drop the link to Sonia D's channel so you guys could see this for yourself, or you could just go look at her channel for yourself. But let me show you guys, because I want you guys to understand these are the reasons why I'm inclined to believe these messages are legitimate. Give me a second. So this is Sonia. There is, I'm going to get into that, Bodhi. I'm leading into that. I'm just taking forever to get to it. Good night, Legendary. So this is Sonia D's channel. She also covers this case. Hey, Shakto. So this is it. Okay. So this is, I'm just playing the part of Sonia's video regarding this message leak, but I'm just playing a clip of where it's from the TikTok live before this screen recording happened. Okay? And this is when Brat was still trying to prove she spoke to Steve Gonsalves, okay? So watch.
I don't know.
And besides this, can I just say how pretty Sonia is? Because she's really pretty.
No, it could actually be the real one. Who knows?
Hold on, it goes on for a long time.
I thought you had his personal phone number.
I do. You want me to call him right now and get him on the phone?
No, he's in bed right now. He has work in the morning. You should know that if you talk to him.
I don't know. Does it look like I'm talking to him?
That could be anyone, sweetheart.
Oh, okay. So now that I've
I've actually talked to him, but I mean, okay. Go off.
Okay.
Go off.
Hold on. It's still going.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's Gonzo. Who's Gonzo? Like, right? This is a serious question. I don't know. I thought his name was Steve.
Okay. Well, you don't really know anything then, do you?
Is it
just like Dot was a real person? Just like Holly was saying a real story. About Brad, you do not care about the shit you put out. You just want to put shit out there that people are going to look at and give you clicks for.
Okay, does everyone see me still going? Does everyone see me still going?
Comes home.
What? I'm not going to post our personal conversations because that's horrible, but this is what you asked for. You begged for
this. That is what you're doing, and if anybody slows the video down enough, they're going to be able to get all of those conversations. But you're a super sleuth.
Then we have like the dog.
Okay. So that was before this screen recording message leak happened. Okay. That is one of the factors of what I have in my mind of when determining, do I believe these are legitimate? Okay. Now, yes, she is flying through those really quickly. But I will tell you this, if you slow it down and you take the screen recording that would later come out, which we went over, if you even take the bubbles and like if you can't even, let's say you can't make out the actual text, it aligns perfectly with what would be the screen recording later. Okay. This is one of the factors of why I think, okay, because you could see it's her literal screen. It's her Facebook. Thank you, Body. That was August 1st, 2023. Thank you. As far as I know, Christina, it was recorded on, see, I don't know how the TikTok world works. They like when they say a subscriber only, that's not the same as our subscribers only. Apparently a subscribers only means kind of like how our members only means, I think. Like I don't get it really, but like it was, as far as I know, I did not see this for myself. So this is what I've heard. It was a subscribers only, and it was shared within the subscribers only, and then from there screen recorded and taken out. But okay, so that is one of the factors of what I believe it is legitimate. Another factor is the context. It wasn't a subscriber only live. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm so confused by. If you know character analysis, please share, because I'm not familiar with the TikTok world and I get confused by it. It wasn't a subscriber only. Does that mean just open, like just normally, like a normal live, a public live? Okay, so it was a public live, and then screen recorded and posted on YouTube. Is that correct? You were in it, D Smalls? Okay. Open. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so there you go. So either way, as far as I know, it absolutely was a sub live. Okay, I get confused with the sub stuff. Like, does that mean private or open? Like, is that a paywall or not a paywall? Okay. Sub live means private. Okay, thank you. So you're welcome, Christina. There was a mole in there. It's private. I hear you. Okay. So no one that doesn't sub can watch you pay to sub. No one that doesn't subscribe can watch you pay to sub. So it's like our members only. I think that was a public live. Okay. See, I'm not, so yeah, you guys are saying different things. I'm not sure. I can't say for certain because I didn't see it for myself. Brett didn't have subscribers then. Okay. So good night, Chase. Either way, it was screen recorded and it was reposted. That's from what I'm understanding. So, another reason of why I believe they're legitimate is because the context of within the messages. We took over 7 hours. It was painstaking and brutal, but it took us over 7 hours for me and Shay to read through every single message on our live stream. If you were following everything back then, what, Melissa? Which one? What are you referring to? If you were following everything back then, you would know that, okay, this accurately lines up with the information that was spilling out at that time, that was going around at that time. It lines up. Okay. We know Steve, another factor is we know Steve does talk to numerous people. I never had an issue with believing Steve was speaking to Brat. There was numerous factors, okay? The point is that I never would have gone live and discussed it if I really didn't believe it was legitimate. But even my focus wasn't so much what Steve was saying versus look at this misinformation that's getting back to the victims' families. That was the focus. But I cannot verify 100%. I still can't verify 100% that they are legitimate. I can't say that because they're not my messages. Thank you, Bluey girl. Thank you so much. So, here's the thing. Okay. JLR tweeted that the roommates were texting during the murders the same day Steve told Brad. Really? Interesting, Michelle. JLR. So lying, liar, lies. But that's still interesting. Yeah, CA and the Hollywood comment, it sealed it for me. Okay. I stated, all right, so then, we had another creator who came in and stated that they had reached out to Steve. And that they confirmed that part of the messages were manufactured. Not all. Keep in mind that not all. Part of the messages are manufactured or fake. Now listen, I think people need to stop reaching out to these victims' families. Stop it. Enough. Specifically regarding this case, enough. It is so out of control. It is so sloppy. It is so messy. I think it's doing more damage than good. I don't know if it's doing any good. I know that we want answers, but we cannot be selfish, you guys. Like, speculating and theorizing is one thing, okay? If we want to come on here and we want to speculate, we want to theorize, okay. I think reaching out to these victims' families, and then look what happens. Things get leaked. Things come out. This person's not trustworthy. This gets spun. This gets manipulated. There's talk about a grand jury leak, okay? This could actually have an impact. So, I don't think that at this point there's any good in reaching out to Steve or any of the victims' families, but we know Steve is the most likely to actually engage in a conversation. Let me tell you something. These victims' families are not going to be in their right state of mind. When I say that, I do not say that in a mean way. I say that in naturally, they just went through something so horrific. They're still going through something so horrific. This is a very unique case. It is very public, very much in the spotlight, very all over the place. It's conspiracy fueled. I can't imagine the emotions you're dealing with. Hence, you're not going to be in the right state of mind, okay? So, reaching out, there's many things that Steve may have done that I don't agree with, but I don't judge him for it. Again, I can't imagine the situation he's in and the choices he's making. I don't want to try to understand or fathom what a father in that situation is thinking and feeling and the reason why. I don't. But everybody else is in their right state of mind, or should be. All of you creators or anybody else who's still reaching out. Why? Because you can't rely on him to make a decision that may be in his own best interest right now. He's not going to think clearly and logically And again, I'm really not meaning that in a disrespectful way, versus I cannot imagine thinking long-term and clearly, and come on, guys. So stop even putting them in that situation. Stop it. For what? For your own little petty told you so or this or that. I don't agree with it. Now, you don't have to listen to me, but this is my platform. I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. So we had a creator who came in, took it upon themselves to reach out to Steve, claimed they had a conversation with Steve, claimed Steve said that part of the messages were manufactured. That creator came back around and basically was trying to be the authority and dictate that we do not even discuss, okay, these messages because they were debunked. Well, first of all, I was never shown any receipts or proof that you even spoke to Steve. Number two, I wouldn't, let's say that you have. See, well, then it's contradicting statements, character analysis, right? See, this is what I'm talking about. Because character analysis says Steve said the messages never happened at all. Yet this other person said Steve said some of the messages were faked. Which one is it? And let me be clear. I'm not harping on Steve and what he's saying. I'm not, listen, the entire point is if I was Steve and this is the situation I caught myself in, I would not admit to those messages either, because this could seriously affect the case. When you are talking about 2 grand jury members coming to you and giving you information about what they saw, the witnesses on the stand, what they heard, what they testified to, the evidence that they have, and leaking it out to the families, you guys, this isn't nonchalant. This isn't petty stuff. This is some serious shit that can affect this case. And you expect Steve to admit to that? And again, I'm not judging him. But that was my entire point. Even if he did say, I really, for the reasons I stated prior, this is why I believe these are legitimate. But the focus was never, let's hype up what Steve is saying in these, versus focusing on, wow, look at the misinformation, look at the narrative, look at the trolls, and it managed to get all the way back to these victims' families. That was the focal point of my live. And the whole reason I even went through the messages, of course, it was very interesting to see the things that Steve would drop along the way, but that was never the highlight of it. I believe that grand jury info is false and why it hasn't come up. Interesting. The point is, don't put them in this situation, okay? But that snowballed with this other creator. It snowballed into a bigger thing, and they made a live, and that's what I wanted to address, because it even came all the way back. And the reason I'm addressing is because people even came back here saying the messages were debunked. Okay. This creator did a live, and she was on a mission to prove you can fake messages. And during this live, even took the time to create fake messages, show you an app that could be downloaded, and how you can create this fake screen recording. Except I'll tell you right now, there was a lot of issues with that fake screen recording you showed compared to the screen recording we saw, number one. Number two, it was never a question of, can messages be faked? Or can a screen recording be faked? Of course it can. Whoever said it can't be? Whoever said here, you can't fake a screen recording? You can't fake text messages? Oh, fuck, you can? It's 2024. Like, of course you can. It was never a matter of, can this be faked? It was a matter of, do we think it was faked? You know what I mean? But because, and let me just tell you, I think, how do I say this? I think it was a real shady move to be calling out and trying to prevent, hey, these messages aren't legit. Stop running with misinformation, while at the same time titling a live New Idaho leaked messages, when all you're doing is showing how to fake messages. So I think it's wrong. You shouldn't have reached out to the victims' families anymore. It was never, ever, ever about whether or not can you fake messages? Can you fake a screen recording? Yes, you can. There was issues in the presentation you put forward, and it did not mirror the screen recording we saw to a T. But it was everything within it, and for the reasons I stated earlier, that I'm likely to believe that it is. I'm inclined to believe that it's true. And that's exactly what it is, true Texas girl. She is just contributing to the issue she is trying to debunk. Exactly. But that's why I don't think they should be reached out to anymore. Not that I don't think they should have been reached out to begin with. But what good is it? Ask yourself, for real, what good is it going to do right now? What good to the case is it going to do? And I know what you're going to say. You're going to make the argument, go straight to the source. Go straight to the source. The source is muddy right now, okay? And when I say that, I don't say that disrespectfully. The lines are blurred, specifically with this case, because there was too much happening, too many people involved, too much back and forth, too much he said, she said. It's not, and I say that, like, and I feel bad even saying that, but it really has become too muddy. It's no longer, can we just take somebody's word for it? We can't. We really can't. And I can see reasons of why somebody would lie in this situation. So I just think using it further for more entertainment is just goes against everything you're trying to call out. Welcome, Doc Terry. Michelle, she focuses on the Tisha stuff, so she'll probably be here tomorrow night. Welcome, Doc Terry. Thank you so much for becoming a member. So, yes, Kathy 4, absolutely, information is still withheld from the family, and that's what I'm trying to say. It's so unfair to them, because if anybody is trying to figure out the truth and answers, nobody's going to be trying to figure that out more than the family. Look at how much of a clusterfuck this case is, okay? With how many conspiracies, how many narratives, how many fake people coming and speaking out with lies. You think that's driving us crazy? Look at the families. Everything is going back to the families. Their minds must be going crazy with trying to know what happened to their baby. That's their kid. How many of us are parents in here? That's their freaking children. Okay? So I don't care. Like, I don't have to agree with everything. And I don't mean to harp on Steve, but yeah, Steve was definitely in the forefront, and Steve has definitely had the most communication. I don't have to agree. I can't understand what it's like to be in his position. I don't want to. God bless him. I really hope that family all of the families has peace. I'm not judging. What I'm judging is everybody else, because you aren't going through that. And you're taking advantage of the fact that these families aren't going to turn away anybody that they think could even possibly help find their the answers for their baby. Don't take advantage of that. Was it really that important to reach out, to feel like you needed to debunk something, to this and that? It wasn't that big of a deal. It really wasn't anything that anybody wasn't already talking about. Come on. Let these families grieve, but they can't grieve. That's what you don't understand. They can't grieve because they don't have any answers. They don't have any answers. And not only do they not have any answers, they have a shit ton of lies and narratives and people claiming to be there and seeing the surviving roommates and seeing all these innocent people being fed to them on the daily. Can you imagine how many people are reaching out to these families on a daily basis? It's on you to step back and say, yeah, I'm not going to cross that line. I'm not going to cross that boundary right now. Okay. Because what good is it going to do? It's not going to do any good. This case has become so far out of control. I don't think it could even be reeled back in yet or ever. So I think all we can do is kind of just step back, know our place, and don't cross that line. Don't cross that line. Thank you, Bodhi. I need to correct myself. The line where she scrolled through the messages was July 25th, not August 1st. Thank you so much. That Michelle. I mean, I could show you guys, like a piece of the video of where she's trying to debunk by making the messages. It's up to you, or we could just move on to some of the more Kim stuff. But again, the question was never, can these messages be faked? Can a screen recording be created? Can you make it appear like you are talking to somebody in Facebook Messenger? Can you alter the date or time? Those were never the questions. It was never about that. Hey Mal, I know. It was never about that. It was never about that. So but it's up to you guys. I could pull it up. I could kind of show you what she presented to try to debunk it, or we could move on. Let me know what you guys want me to do. But basically it's just taking you through the process. And this, I saw people come to my channel and literally say, oh, not in a mean way at all, but, oh yeah, I saw how they were debunked, no, that's not debunking. You didn't debunk the messages. All you did was prove that it's possible to manufacture messages. So that's all I saw. But okay. So, but here, I'll show this again for anybody who missed this. This is from Sonia's live. And this is where she shows Brett on a TikTok live actively scrolling through these exact messages, which were not leaked yet. Please understand the context. At this time in July, thank you, Bodhi, in July is when this live was happening, and she was scrolling through these messages on the screen. So the screen recording that we would later be going through had not even been released yet.
Hold on, it goes on for a long time.
I thought you had his personal phone number.
I do. You want me to call him right now and get him on the phone?
No, he's in bed right now. He has work in the morning. You should know that if you talk to him.
I don't know. Does it look like I'm talking to him?
That could be anyone, sweetheart.
Oh, okay. So now that I've
I've actually talked to him, but I mean,
Okay.
go off.
Okay.
Go off.
Hold on, it's still going. It's still going.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's Gonzo. Who's Gonzo? Like,
Right?
this is a serious question. I don't know. I thought his name was Steve.
Okay, well, you don't really know anything then, do you?
Is it?
Just like Dot was
No,
a real
this is a serious
person,
question.
just like Holly was saying a real story. What I'm talking about, Brad. You do not care about the shit you put out. You just want to put shit out there that people are going to look at and give you clicks for.
Okay, does everyone see me still going? Everyone see me still going? What? I'm not going to post our personal conversations because that's horrible, but this is what you asked for. You begged for
that is what you're doing, and if anybody slows the video down enough, they're going to be able to get all of those conversations. But you're a super sleuth.
Then we
So, and that's true. So all I'm saying is, oh, that could be altered. That could be, a fake screen recording. Sure. Can it be? Absolutely. But one of the reasons I think it's more likely to be legit is this is a factor right here. Back in July, she actively scrolled through them and they line up with the same messages we see that were in this current screen recording. You got it? Thank you, Shelly Stewart. Hi. Thank you so much. It's just So I just wanted to address that. As far as I'm concerned, no, they have not been debunked. As far as I'm concerned, we have one person there. Listen, there's two people who would have been in these messages. We have one person who's saying they are legitimate. We have another person who's saying some of them are not legitimate. And I guess to others saying they're all fake. Take it for what it is. Cannot confirm or deny 100% anything, but I'm under the personal belief that they are legit. There can be issues within those messages. There can be serious issues as far as the grand jury. And let me pull up character analysis because their character analysis has the video on her channel. But I want to show you another reason why I believe. Okay. Give me a second. Actually, no. Let me get a Kimbleweed up in here. All right. Another reason. All right. So it pulls down. You can see anybody who's familiar with the screen recording pulls down on her normal screen. She begins a screen recording. Oh, this is going to fly. Hold on. I didn't know it was possible to have this fast of a video, but it is. Okay. As you can see, it's the Gonzo Gonsalves. It's the same account that we just saw during her TikTok live. Who's Gonzo, right? Because at that point, Brat was getting a lot of heat because people did not believe she was actually genuinely speaking to Steve. I questioned whether or not she was speaking to Steve. I wouldn't have been surprised because I knew Steve was speaking to a lot of people, but I could not determine if she was just kind of like talking shit or not at that point. You think so a lot, Truth Matters? What makes you say that? Just curious. So besides this, if you go to the very end, all right. So if you go to the end of the screen recording, it brings you to Steve's account. Okay. Megan, Steve is Kaylee Gonsalves' dad. So it's showing her, it's pulling up Steve's Facebook, okay? So she is actively clicking on it. So it's not just, and this is what I wish would have, if you were going to try to debunk this screen recording, I wish you would have gone in and literally recreated an identical screen recording that shows you doing this exact stuff. But that's not what was shown in the debunking video. She clicks on Steve's account. It takes her out of Messenger and it takes her into Facebook itself. And it pulls up Steve's account. All of this adds up because you can go onto Steve's account, okay? And certain of these photos are public. Certain of these posts are public because Steve and Brat were not friends on Facebook. So everything she's pulling up right here is viewable for the public, meaning you can go and look yourself. Go and take the time. Do not take my word for it. Go and take the time. Check Steve's profile if you want. Do not message. Do not reach out. Do not know. But if you want to look at his profile just to verify, hey, what's viewable as a public setting, you know, you can do that. And welcome, Stacey Cole. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We're happy to have you here with us. All of these posts are public. They align perfectly. So if you're saying not only is it fake, but this person happened to create a profile that also recreated Steve's exact profile and was able to get the dates and everything of the postings exact. Thank you, MK. MK just gifted 5 memberships. Congratulations. If you received a membership, please make sure you thank MK in the chat. Congratulations to our newest members. Yeah, Christina, it's out of control. But that's kind of like what everything regarding this topic is, you know, is people ran intentionally with misinformation because it benefited them at the time. There's just some things on the Facebook app that no fake app can recreate. I would love if you could bring us through that maybe sometime, Deets. So as you can see, these are on his public profile. These are all things you could go and look. You could go and look at. You could go and verify yourself. And it shows he's married. It goes so fast. Sorry. It shows he is married to Chrissy. Right there. Married to Chrissy. If you click on that, it brings you to Chrissy's legitimate Facebook. And vice versa. Okay. That part too. Real quick. That was the last part I wanted to show you. One last thing. She pulls out. This is Brat's actual Facebook. You are seeing as she leaves, it's her actual Facebook, okay? That's one other part of why I believe it's legit. And then right here, she bumps out and she shows the rest of her messenger. And the rest of her messenger shows that she's talking to people like Daniel from the Drunk Turkey Show, Einan Harsh. Granted, yes, can these be faked? 100% sure. Yeah, absolutely. They could be faked. Do I believe it is? I don't. I'm more under the belief that these are legit. Take it for what it is. So I just wanted to go over that with you guys. I just wanted to clarify. It was never, ever about, can they be faked? Can you create a screen recording? Yes. Does that prove they're fake? No. And yes, that is also another factor. They make Brat look horrible. They make Brat look horrible. So if Brat is the one putting out these messages, they make her look, they do not shine her in a good light. That screen right there, it's where it's hard to fake and mimic later. Interesting. Okay. Everybody's been saying, Michelle, that YouTube has been so, hi Lucia. Everybody's been saying that YouTube has been glitchy for a long time. Like the past 2 weeks, I've been seeing people in the chat saying it's glitchy, it's glitchy. What is it doing? Shay Benet went to bed early tonight, Sofa. You know what? You're correct, Tiffany, and thank you for the correction. Misinformation is false or inaccurate information, getting the facts wrong. Disinformation is false information, which is deliberately intended to mislead, intentionally misstating the facts. Thank you. You are right, and I don't use disinformation in my vocabulary enough, and I need to do that moving forward. And thank you for clarifying the difference. Really? Oh, that's annoying. No, they definitely don't. They definitely don't make her look good. Hi, Love in the Laundry. Yeah, very good clarification. Okay. So, never said they couldn't be faked. Just not inclined to believe they are faked. Still don't agree. Just don't reach out. We didn't need to reach out to Steve. We didn't need to get him involved more. We could have just had our opinions of it and let it be. Because the more we're getting them involved, the more dirtier it's getting, the more of an issue it could be. And come trial, if you don't think that this could actually become a significant issue, you're wrong. Defense's job is to use anything that can be in Brian's benefit, in their client's best interest. Don't put them in that situation. Okay. So somebody's watching. Thank you, Alicia. Proud of you. Keep being you, beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. Very much appreciated. Thank you. All right. So, hold on. Let me see. With what specifically, Megan? With people reaching out to the families and disinformation and misinformation from day one. Day one. Day one. Chicken shite. All right. So I wanted to go over some more of the Kim. Oh, that was Dave. Dave. Okay. Me. From Okay, inbox. Give me one moment. I know that when we originally pulled up one of the Kim panels, we went through a thou shall not kill panel. I think we should switch it up. How do I get to more? Oh. Turn around every now and then I get a little bit more. Okay, hold on. Keep going. Okay, there's that one. Thou shall not kill. Okay. I don't know if I should do drunk turkey. All right. Let me share my screen. How you guys doing over here? Oh, welcome, Alicia. Thank you so much for joining. Okay. All right, let me pull this up. So this is when Kim went on to the Evil CJ show. And I think this might be where I was blocked, if I'm not mistaken. This might be where, I think I might have been blocked in this live, if I'm not mistaken. Because I went in and I asked, hey, Kim, do you still stand by? Okay, this is the live. Okay. Do you still, it was Sunny Cat. Okay. See, I went in and I just respectfully asked, do you still stand by the 5 college age students names? Oh, yes. Do you still stand by the 5 college students names you put out and accused of being involved in the murders? I was blocked. Dun, dun, dun. Let me just shut off these hearts for you guys. You guys hate those hearts. Live reactions off. There you go. That should be better. You got blocked on CGs too? Happens to you all the time, to be honest. Yeah. Well, listen. Oh yeah, if you guys could hit that thumbs up really quickly, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Harlot. Well, I wasn't disrespectful about it. Let me be clear. I was not disrespectful about it because I just wanted to know if she stood by it, and this is when because you have to realize, this was still in the beginning of Kim coming out and it was making its waves. And so this was when I was realizing, okay, we're doing this, huh? We are not searching for the truth. We are just going to let her kind of run. But as far as, wait, no, I think that was at least with Dot, I think the evil CJ made sure to say, hey, you need to take this to law enforcement and go the proper route. So I will give credit there. I don't remember what happened on this one though, but it's less about, I'm not really trying to focus on the creators themselves versus Kim and what her narrative is and what she claimed and how she Kimbleweeded her way across the tubes, across Facebook, across TikTok. Hey Lala. And how her story evolved. All right, so let's see.
Oh,
me and my tech abilities, not
right.
there.
Not there.
Absent. So can you hear me okay?
Yeah, let me turn down this
Can you hear me?
music
Okay.
a little bit. Yeah, I can hear you great. It's good to hear from you. What's up?
You as well. I just want to really be clear about. So I believe, and I don't know for certain, that I'm the person who had the conversation with Daniel with Drunk Turkeys about Kopaka, because it wasn't public. Nobody had made it public, and I had that conversation. Nobody called me and asked me, and I would have happily had a conversation with him. And let me first start with this. I appreciate that young man's service. He was ill, and he was not a young man. He was older, but he was not well. He had
100.
terrible, right? So I'm not coming down on him for that. But my kid was in that other dorm that got shot at. And guess what? I'm sorry.
Wait, Miss Ma'am, what'd you say? You said your kid was in that other dorm that got shot at during the Kopaka situation, yet didn't we listen to her say her child was back home with her for like a break or something, and yes, they got the alerts that things were on lockdown. Brent wasn't in a dorm. Wait, hold on. Oh, see, this is where I need Shay, because she remembers these specifics like this. She specifically said at a different time her child was not there, but they got the alert that things were like on lockdown and something happened, and that's what made her freak out. So now her child was in a dorm that got shot at. Brent wasn't part of a dorm, it was an apartment. That's why nobody called and asked her. Oh, Bianca. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Well, let's just make a mental note of that. I'll write it down to remember to ask Shay that, because she's good with the Kopaka stuff. She has 7 D smalls.
I'm sorry, it's unacceptable. You cannot go out there and defend this man's behavior.
Oh, let me be clear. Now, not only, hold on. Ready for the Kimbleweed? Not only was her daughter notified of the murders via Snapchat prior to 911 being called, not only was her child's home used as a fake alibi for Jack D and Adam, but then her son, her son was in the dorm next door that almost got shot up, that got shot at by Brent Kopaka. Stop there? I think not, because her son also attended the classroom number 107 when Brian Koberger was a TA in 106. Who does this sound like? This sounds a little bit like Justin, don't you think? My uncle Dave the dentist, my dad who worked with Fry, and then cousin Randy who's in the money laundering scheme in real estate, and my father had his hands in the cookie jar, and then we have freaking cousin Sandra and Nicolette who are the cops. Why are everybody How is it this one person happens to have all of your family members intertwined. You're telling me, Kim, your daughter was directly involved in the cover-up and the crimes and the alibis. Your son was in the room next door to Brian Koberger, who was a TA. And then also it was directly related to the Kopaka situation as his dorm was shot up at. What are the odds, though? Because you know what this sounds like to me? It sounds like it starts one place, and then as time went on and as the case went on and more names started coming out, and then the Kopaka came out, and then she had a direct association with Kopaka. Then I told Adam everything came out. Then she incorporated Adam into it. And then the next thing came out, and then the next, and she just Kimball-weeded her way and collected things as she went. But there is no damn way one person is going to have that many connections in this situation. Thank you, Shelley. Yes, and Einstein. We can't forget Einstein. We can't forget Einstein. Psh, what was I thinking? Not only did they eat it up, they you know what, I won't even go there. Yes, they did. They gobbled it down. Okay?
Or say he's not a part of something that was just a month prior, and it could likely be a part of. Nobody knows, and who knows if we'll ever know. But you can't go on there and condemn every single human, every person out there for being appalled by his behavior. My kid was in that building.
I swear I need to find where she says he wasn't there. He lived there, but he wasn't home at the time. Yeah, thank you. He was not living in a damn dorm. He was a 37-year-old disabled veteran living at the Coffee House Apartments in Pullman. No, thank you. You can't forget Einstein, Bodie. Oh my gosh.
Did nothing wrong.
What building was that?
He was in. There's several things about this whole situation. And what I was calling drunk turkeys about was not to align Kopaka with Moscow. It was to inform other parents that this just went down and the school's not giving us anything on it.
This just went down and the school's not. So you went on and you made people really fuel this conspiracy with Kopaka and Koberger. Now I understand people. I would love that, Harlot. I understand people had been uncomfortable with something so tragic happening so close to the time of the horrific quadruple murder and so close in location. Okay? I agree with that, Christina. I don't disagree with that. I understand people looked at it, but people went hard with the Kopaka stuff. Kopaka struggled with PTSD. He was the sole survivor, and I don't want to say it wrong because I don't know, it was an ATV. Harlot, please correct me. I'm not super familiar with what the names of them are, but he was the sole survivor after I think it was the ATV got a Hummer hit an IED. He was the sole survivor. Okay. Humvee. Thank you everyone. I'm not good with that stuff, so thank you. I think if anything, that situation, if there was any reason for that to go viral, it should have been to bring awareness for our military, anybody who is in the service needing help when they are done serving our country. Because when they come home, Letitia Stout has better dental, better medical, better food than our servicemen and women do. Okay? A lot of vets are on the street homeless. A lot of vets have such severe PTSD. They struggle to live on a daily basis. I'm so sorry, Michelle. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if anything, it should have brought up the conversation of we need to do better for our men and women who serve our country. I understand people had questions. And I didn't even mind if people just wanted to question how the events unfolded with Kopaka's death on its own. Yeah, there might have been some questionable things. It was directly involving it in the quadruple murder when they already arrested Brian. And they went so far as to involve Brent's best friend, Darren. We had Darren Duncan on this channel for an interview. He gave us some backstory with Brent, shared his experience, what it was like to be on the targeting end and accused of being involved in that. He had no idea what was going on. It's a dangerous game these people are playing. These are real people with real lives. You can't just wrap them up into this conspiracy with such heavy allegations and not realize that people believe you and then they run with it.
Apparently, he was in the coffee. It's called the Coffee House Apartments. They said he lived there with two students who are like 20 years old, and he's 38. Weird, but whatever. And he was threatening to shoot them. It started at 8:30 p.m. on the 14th. I believe it was the 14th, and then on the 15th is when he finally passed. But we didn't even get notice, a phone call from the school until 3:30 a.m. on the.
Now, to be fair, and welcome, Chris. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I'm not sure, because I don't want to speak on this and be wrong. I'm not sure what the protocol would be with the school when it wasn't on campus. I don't know if it was protocol for them to be notified, for them not to be notified. It wasn't dorms. So I don't know. So I don't want to sit here and say, well, why would they? Because she's sitting here and she's complaining about not having open communication. The schools wouldn't tell them anything. But I can't imagine the schools, maybe an alert going out, but I can't imagine the schools giving you information on the investigation when it's not even affiliated with the school itself. It didn't happen with the school. Oh, I'm so sorry, Harlot. Yeah, Angel. Yes, Tiffany. Thank you, Viviana. Okay, so the campus set out an alert to all students and faculty. So that is like pretty much the most I would anticipate for them, because unless it, like, why would Kim expect the school to communicate to students' parents what's happening in an open investigation, especially when it didn't directly involve the school? It did not. I could understand getting an alert because it happened near campus, near dorms. Yes, that makes sense. But she just said they weren't giving us any information. Why would they? It didn't even happen on school. Like, it has nothing to do with the school. They can't give you. Ooh, okay. Viviana says they sent out 3 alerts. Oh, you know what? Now I am remembering this. They sent out 3 alerts, actually. Last was the all clear. Thank you. It's rare for universities to reach out to parents anyway. At this point, your kids are adults. If they need to contact the students, they will. Thank you. And that's what I'm saying. So, like, alerts make sense. I didn't want to say, yes or no, but now that you're saying that, now I do remember hearing about that and even seeing it. But as far as they wouldn't give us any information, why would you? I'm not, maybe Viviana knows, Alicia, I'm not sure. I'd have to pull up all those old screenshots from back then. Good night, MK. Thank you again for the gifted memberships, and thank you for being here. Right, it happened at Koch Housing, which is a rental apartment company that does not market and rent to students, but it is not affiliated with the university. So here we are again, seeing Kim feeling entitled to having access to open investigations that don't even have anything to do with the school itself.
The 15th. So we're not even giving the information.
3:30
And we're
a.m.
already,
is when you got the notice?
yes. When we've learned that they were on an alert, they didn't even clear the entire building.
How do
There were
you
kids
know?
in that building on the phone with their mothers.
Is that when you were driving back home? Is that when you were
Yes.
telling us you were
Well,
driving back home and you got the notice?
So here's the thing. Yeah, no, that's a different time. This is 30 days later. 30 days later.
Oh yeah.
And my kids, so my kids come home the 15th. So, and it's the south side of campus. So I get an alert at 3:30 in the morning that south side of campus is being told to whatever they call it, stay in place or
So 3:30 in the morning is when they get the message. Well, it works out now, Viviana. She's explaining it. So, but about the road closures and 3rd with all clear. Right. I know, Michelle. I know. Yep, she got an alert. But I thought she just said she didn't. Did she not just say she didn't? But how do you know they didn't fully clear the... Kim, Miss Ma'am, how do you know they didn't fully clear a dorm? Were you there? But did you die? Sorry. Were you there? Were you going through floor after floor and clearing it? Kim.
shelter in place. And I'm thinking, really? This is happening. This is what we're going through because we're already been here. Right. But they don't clear the whole building out. Apparently somebody starts a fire, but no fire truck ever shows up, according to what we've seen since. There's so much vagueness in this entire thing. There's such a lack of transparency with the police departments and the authorities and law, with everybody over there, administrations, everybody, that yes, we are concerned. And I'm sorry if this gentleman who misses his friend, and I understand that. My heart aches for him.
She's referring to Darren, Brent's best friend. So you I understand it's different for anybody who may be watching this now who didn't experience this in real time. But you guys, this was really heavy when it was happening. Everything was very emotional. Stress was through the roof. Things were coming out day after day. It went a really long time before they made the arrest with Brian Koberger. Speculation was at its highest. Then all of a sudden, she goes on Drunk Turkey. All this Kopaka situation is directly intertwined with the murders. People were going crazy. Then Darren himself, just for being Brent's friend, was dragged in and people were accusing him. Justin, I showed you guys the last episode. Justin literally said in the comments, Darren, Brent, and Brian driving together the night of the murders. So you're about to say, well, I'm sorry you're upset for your friend, but we want to know information. Who are you to know any information in an active investigation, not having any association to this school?
And for
Oh
the
yeah,
pain
he's
that
got
this man
to.
was in.
Yeah,
But
for
he
sure.
must understand, and the media must understand, that I'm a mom who's out there saying to parents, look, we got to stand together. We got to start asking questions. We got to start doing something, because you know what? 4 kids is too many. 1 is too many. And how many have we had die since? Including Kopaka. How many have we had die since? And nothing makes sense. 1 and 1 is making 1,000. And where are all the missing facts? Nothing makes sense. And so I understand he's sad and frustrated and feels like his friend's memory has been tarnished. First,
it was tarnished to this day. You're justifying intertwining Brent, who severely struggled with PTSD, in a quadruple homicide. And you're telling his best friend, chill out. I know you knew him for your entire life, but let us speculate about his involvement. Let us speculate, now that he's not here to defend himself, about him truly being the murderer. Let us speculate about Brian, using Brent's K-bar knife to sniff cocaine off of. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Because he's not here to tell us otherwise.
well, he tarnished his own memory because, yes, he was ill, but he held 2 kids at gunpoint as roommates, if that's the truth.
As far as we know, that's not the truth. But I'm not going to get too much into it because I don't want to focus on what Brent's story is. But to say he tarnished his own memory, what you're saying is, hey, he did this one thing, so I can accuse him of 8 things he didn't do because he already did that one thing. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. All right, you stole that one Snickers from Target, and I want to arrest you. But I'm also going to tack on you stealing from Kohl's, you stealing from Walmart, you stealing from 7-Eleven, you stealing from Applebee's. I don't fucking know. I'm going to tack on everything because who gives a shit? You did it once at 7-Eleven, right? So, you did it once at Target, right? So who gives a shit? No, what? That doesn't make sense. You hold a person accountable for what they did. You don't just tack on a bunch of shit that you want to accuse them of and say, well, who cares? Your reputation was already fucking tarnished. What kind of justification is that? I think we're going to need a bigger Kimball weed. Thank you, Shelly. We are. That Kimball weed is weeding, if you know what I mean. That was a horrible example, K-Braze, but I own it, honestly. Yes, I was sent the video proof. I was sent it, Stacy, and I debunked that all during my Darren interview. I did my best to try to anything I could debunk with the Brent Kopaka situation. I did my best to debunk it when I had Darren on, including that infamous photo. But people didn't care. Or how about the family whose dog, Buddy the dog, has the original leash? How about that?
Who knows if that's the truth? So he brought that upon himself. His behavior brought that upon himself. He's a 38-year-old man. I'm sorry.
That's
but
true.
Wow.
That's
At some
true.
point, accountability is everything. And
It's
mental illness
facts.
is huge. Right. And mental illness is huge. But you're dealing with kids and parents who are already triggered. We're already ready to jump through out of our
Right.
skins. And how many
Yeah,
kids have
'cause there's
passed away
no-
since?
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
And
there
so the
was
media,
no
they don't come to
reward.
me.
Yeah.
Right. And I wouldn't have, well, actually, I have had the mainstream media come to me. And I'm like, no, you want me to say what I want, you want me to say, and I'm not going to say that. Because the last time I hijacked, I was on News Nation once and I hijacked it. They told me what to say and I didn't say it. I said exactly what I wanted. I don't even remember what I said. But they said that's what they wanted me to say. And I said, okay. And said exactly what I wanted because I knew I was going to. And then I came here because you guys listen, like YouTube listens. You're actually listening.
Listen, I've said it before. Social media is a double-edged sword. The most amazing thing about social media, YouTube, TikTok, we are not bound and held back by anything we can say. We can say whatever the fuck we want. The worst thing about social media, YouTube, TikTok, we are not bound. We can say whatever the fuck we want. So what you're saying, Kim, these platforms allowed you to run your mouth, spew your lies, run your narratives, show zero receipts, unlike mainstream media that would not let you do that. I've seen mainstream media run with some shit, okay? I've seen it. They've gotten things wrong. If they even thought there was a chance what you were saying was legitimate, they would have entertained it.
Listening and getting the facts and trying to, at least for the most part, I would say 80% of YouTubers and these platforms are trying to do the right thing, the best thing, and manage it in their own personal way, which is a good way to go about it. We got rid of television literally because I don't even watch mainstream news anymore since I found YouTube, because
Yeah,
everything's here and it seems
local.
more real and honest, right? So with this gentleman and with the media and with what they said, I felt like Daniel and Daniel and Blue, they both could have said, well, the mom, they could have said I said it. I would have been fine with that, but they didn't. They,
Well, let
they
me get.
took that hit.
I want to take a pause real quick. I want to get to chat,
Okay.
and then I want to continue with that real quick.
Okay.
ATS. I don't think Kim was saying that PTSD.
Hell yeah. Oh, I love ATS. Sorry, but I see ATS's comment in here and freaking love her. ATS has a comment in here saying mental illness and PTSD isn't something they bring on themselves. Girl, I freaking love you. Let me drop ATS's link too. She is a mod here. She is a very respected friend. And that comment is everything, because you are saying he ruined his own reputation. He did this. He is a grown-ass adult. He shouldn't have done this. So I don't really give a shit that I just accused him of being involved in a quadruple homicide and smeared his name post-death. He did it himself. Well, mental illness and PTSD is not something in your control. But you just held him accountable for it like he was. That was a boss-ass comment. Yes, Booberry. Kim, Dot, and Justin inserted themselves into this horrific crime and made a mockery out of it. They caused a lot of hurt and pain for so many just for attention. Very disgusting people, in my opinion. And there was a lot of people who hosted it and pushed it. I'm not saying every creator who ever had them on was. I'm saying, though, you will figure out which ones were intentionally not asking questions and allowing an insane amount of room night after night after night for the misinformation to be pushed.
Is what brought that on himself. What she was saying is that him holding his friends hostage is what brought that kind of attention onto himself. Is that what you're saying, Kim?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly.
This is what I noticed happening anytime there was a little bit of backlash. Okay. Let's walk back what Kim said to make it seem less shitty. Is that what you meant, Kim? Yeah. That's exactly what I meant. Bitch, no, it wasn't. You meant what you meant. Bitch, I said what I said. That's what you said. You meant what you said, but it didn't sit well with the audience. So we take it back now, y'all. 3 hops this time. Boom, boom, boom. You just jumped it back and you're like, yes, that's exactly what I meant. Take my strong hand, child. No, it's not. Yes. Exactly. It's in the freaking police report. Harley says, we don't know if anything Brent's roommate said about him was true. One of them did specifically say that he did not believe Brent was threatening them. It's in the freaking police report. But never mind that, because the police are corrupt and the police lie and they're lying to us and we can't believe a word they're saying. But hold up, wait a second. I also have a direct leak coming from the police officer about decapitation and hands being removed and pregnancy, and I'm definitely going to run with that. Crap. Shit. You're right. I'm just that good, Michelle. I'm just that good. No, but seriously, crap. Take my strong hand, child. I don't even know why I threw that in there, but that's how I imagine Kim. Come on. Like, just believe me. Take my strong hand. No. Get that shit out of here. I don't want it. Oh, man.
I don't want anybody to think that that's what she was meaning, because I didn't take it that way, and I just don't want anybody else to think that.
My brother was a Navy SAR.
I don't think you meant that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't. And my brother was a Navy SAR, and he saw some really hard times in combat. And I understand. I do truly understand. And even if you didn't, mental illness and mental health is just like having cancer. There's no difference. I have no judgment there. That's not what I'm judging. What I'm saying is this man,
when you hold people hostage, it would be like me. If I went and robbed a bank, I brought that shit on myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
yes.
Okay, but here's the problem. You weren't just discussing the events of what happened. You directly intertwined it with a quadruple homicide. Can I leave you guys just for like probably less than 1 minute? I just have to use the restroom real quickly. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, I'll Kimbleweed you away. Actually, I'll give you, hold on. I'll stop, drop, and roll it with Tisha. I'll be back before this ends.
For the interviews, because I don't have any fancy clothes.
You go to my closet, you take whatever you need. You too, Brennan. You guys got to look sharp. It's the most important day of our lives, okay?
Okay, Dad.
What's your name? What's your age? Where you from? What's your sign? Who you love? What's your style? What you do? What you drive? Stop, drop, and roll. Do that. Do it like a pro. Do that. Stop, drop, and roll. Do that. Do it like a pro. Do that. Hit top, rollie, boy, we know you phony. Take her to the mall and buy her what she want it. Already smell my cash and RP at Kobe. If you're born in September, then you know you're my type. If I see you on Tinder, then I gotta swipe right. If you're born in October, then you're just like me. Here's a resume, can you fill this out, please? What's your name? What's your age? Where you from? What's your sign? Who you love? What's your style? What you do? What you drive? Stop, drop, and roll. Do that. Do it like a pro. Do that. Stop, drop, and roll. Do that. Do it like a pro. Do that. Boy, you know you funny.
I did it. And I washed my hands. I had the time. I heard it all the way from the restroom. So I got it. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, I'm good to go. Let's continue.
Right? And maybe he was at a point where he didn't know right from wrong. But the fact that he's
Not
being
saying that PTSD is what did it. That is twisting words.
It's
No.
right. And the thing is, and
is it though? Is it really though? Is it twisting words? I don't know.
What they say. And so I will tell you the triggering words was
That's
said,
insensitive.
obviously,
Is what
it
that
is
is.
insensitive, right?
Right.
And Washington
That's,
State
we don't do that
University
here.
said,
I don't know why anybody would even think that that would exist on this show.
Yeah, I would do
For real.
anything for a vet. I like. There's just honestly, I'm not unkind. I'm not without grace. But my kid was in that building, and I'll tell you what.
Let me tell you something. Without getting in, I'm not going to get into the specifics. I can show you comments that Kim has left me regarding a situation she knew shit about, and they were very unkind. And I'm not talking about criticizing my coverage or, anything regarding my channel. I'm talking about very personal, unkind comments. So that's a lie.
But we saw what happened. How many children have died this school year? I mean, it's insane. It's crazy. And I know they're not children.
There's a lot. And
there's a lot.
It's ODs, it's mental illness, it's a lot of things.
That doesn't mean it's all a conspiracy, though. Bitch, I love a good conspiracy. But you can't just make a conspiracy when you want it to be a conspiracy. If you look at any college age campus town, compare the deaths. Is it abnormal? Is it abnormal? There's an epidemic going on. There's overdoses happening all over the fucking United States, all over the world, but mostly the United States. You need to compare the stats. You can't just focus on this one specific area and use it to back up a narrative you're pushing. You need to compare the stats and prove that it's abnormal to other areas.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on over there. There really is.
And
the community, you got COVID, and then everything being locked down. And then you add the crime that took place when you weren't putting out a profile, you weren't putting out a reward. The whole community was, I mean, I can imagine the eggshells that community had to be.
When? Angel D said she allegedly threatened Kelly from WotC Obsession to leave Dave alone or she'll dox the two frat boys in a live chat. Now, if you guys weren't here, Kelly from WotC Obsession has two sources, frat boys. And she's had these sources since about 2 weeks after the murders. How long ago, Angel? And they say originally they thought Dave was somebody specific. Like when Dave came out, they were trying to, these two frat boys were trying to understand, all right, who is this? Who's speaking? Who is Dave, you know? And they originally thought it was somebody, but then they figured out it wasn't. It's not him. They don't believe Dave. And they go there. You guys, they're there. They can confirm. No, there was nobody. There was no activity going on at the house 9:30, 10 a.m. at 11:22. So that's interesting that would threaten Kim so much that she would dox these other. I thought you were an advocate for these children. They're adults, young kid, young adults, but I thought it was all about protecting them. Yet you're going to threaten to out them? Now let me ask you this. Why are Dave and Kim intertwined? Here we go back again to my original question. Who the hell are these people? When Dave came out, it gave direct credibility to Kim. Because Kim didn't have receipts. And so Dave sharing his story was like, see, here's another person who's confirming there are Snapchat groups that knew about the murders prior to 911 being called. But why would Kim be so defensive of a student who would eventually speak out that she originally had no relationship to? Or I ask myself, especially taking into consideration Kelly's sources saying they don't believe it. And one was also 17. Wow. Was it legit to begin with? Exactly, Anyanka. And that's what I've asked from the beginning. Why do these sources always come to the same creators? The same creators, the same creators, the same creators. What are the odds? What are the odds that it's these random people with no connections at all, tend to speak out on the same channels? Stroking my metaphorical beard. I don't know, just taking a mental note of it. Just saying.
Be walking on. Plus, they were trying to transition from going through COVID. I told you guys Saturday night and even a little bit last night when I went through COVID, the depression it put me under. And that's why your guys' company means so much. That's why I always try and make sure it's a peaceful, positive, and progressive atmosphere.
And I did hear you say
this
that.
Shit's real.
It really resounded.
And you know what? If I went and robbed a bank because I'm depressed, I brought that shit on me. Not saying that my own mental illness is what brought it on me, but what's saying is that if I chose to do that, then that is what is coming my way. I don't appreciate twisting words. I really don't. And then using my platform to twist words.
Dan, please do not forget. I know I went to the restroom. We stopped, dropped, and rolled. But this reaction is all from Amber's one motherfucking comment. Shit. Talking about twisting words. Meanwhile, we have Kim accusing 5 innocent people of being involved in the murders. All of these narratives, drug hubs, trap house, this, that. No, never mind that. But don't twist my words. Actually, it was Kim's words that were taken very literal, okay? All from that one comment of, hey, PTSD and mental health, it can't be controlled. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Okay, shit.
I'm not appreciating it. And I'm saying it to somebody in chat because I don't appreciate it.
Well, and you know what?
Go
And
ahead,
if they're
please.
coming from a place of, if they're coming in from a place of pain and of that, I will listen to you. I will talk to you. I will do whatever you need to get you help. I promise you, I will. But something triggered Kopaka to get to this point, and it can't. I really don't believe in coincidences.
See, here we go. Buckle up, buttercups, because this is when she continued to, and people believed it. Okay, I don't know why when people are so starving for the answers, I don't know what words to use, like how to explain it, but they start to question things less, if that makes sense, and they're willing to accept more of anything that somebody's putting forward because what they have already doesn't sit right with them. So when Kim is doing this, there are people who really buy into it. Just the other day at Brian Kohberger's last court hearing, and let me be clear, I'm not judging anybody who may have thought the judge almost slipped, okay? I'm just using it as an example. But at Brian Kohberger's most recent court hearing, the judge, people think the Judge Don Judge almost slips and says Kopaka. He goes and he says and then Kohberger. A lot of people think, did he just accidentally go to say Kopaka? It did make its waves. Again, I'm not judging anybody, who think that there's a chance that may have happened. What I'm trying to focus on, though, is still to this day, it is very much discussed. And it is very much intertwined in theories and narratives surrounding this case. That is why I want to mention it, just as recent as this last court hearing.
I believe in miracles, but I do not believe in coincidences. And I will tell you that when the school said to me, the two are not, don't have anything to do with each other, I'm like, you told us that our kids were safe, but you couldn't tell us why. And but you didn't know why it happened and who did it. So how do you know our kids are safe? And then you tell us it's the house, right? Which I understand now, right? But this is 6 months later that, yeah, they were probably trying to tell us something. But then you're going to tell me that this man living with 20-year-olds in student housing, why, for one?
He wasn't. Wow, that's simple. He wasn't. That was easy enough. He wasn't. No students were living in those apartments. It wasn't for students. Welcome, Kitty Pisces. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Something as simple as that. It wasn't dorms. Living among that's like saying like nobody else besides college students can live near a college town. We have Einan Harsh. Why was Einan there? Why did Einan live there? I don't freaking know. Yes, I am. That's just, listen, I do sound effects, okay? They don't have to apply I just do them, okay? They don't have to make sense.
And he's 38. That's weird. If that were my kid, I'd be like, no, that's weird. Why are you living with 20-year-olds, right? And here's the other part of this.
I mean, but
nobody
that
knows who they
that
are.
was normal,
Yeah.
right? That was normal.
No,
when you look
that's
in the,
not
no?
normal. No, to have a.
Who are you to say what's normal, what's not normal? Bitch, maybe they're on a fixed income. Our vets do not get a lot of money, okay? Is it that crazy? I don't get, like, oh my God. Who are you to deem what's normal and what's not normal? Exactly. Cheaper rent if you're willing to put up with the college drama. It's party central over there. Come on. Come on. Splitting rent with roommates. Come on. Kim.
20-year-old living with
well, because I thought
mittens for kittens
well,
and
I thought
indigo.
a lot of the enrollment there had a lot of older, it wasn't. Am I wrong? I thought
so
there was
Brian
a lot older.
lived in Steptoe. So yes, they have a great PhD programs and they have great master's programs. They do. But those students live, usually a lot of them are married or they're with somebody. They live in the apartments like Steptoe.
Yeah.
Very few of them live in Coffee House. Coffee House has kids in it who are like juniors and seniors. Their apartment, it's like apartment. They're undergrads typically in Coffee House. So that doesn't strikes me as weird that he lived there. And also his background check puts him in Spokane as his address for current and owning a home in Illinois. And
I'm sorry, what'd you say? What was it? His background check? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing background checks. And you're telling people where his background check address is, which, you guys, background checks are really not always accurate, okay? A lot of times they're intertwined with another person's information. They have old, outdated information. Yes, she did. Spokane. She does, Wolfie. But, Miss Ma'am, why are you doing background checks on him and then openly? Yeah, very inaccurate. Why are you doing background checks on him and openly talking about that? Come on. I did one on myself and it didn't even get my birthday right. Yeah, a lot of times what I've learned is a lot of times it will overlap like another person's information and attach it to yours, and then it's weird. Not that weird. Students can live there, non-students can live there. It's not university housing, so pay some rent and you're good. I do too, Alicia. But and without getting into the dot stuff, but just to touch on it, what I'm noticing happen is exactly what I knew was going to happen. Is what I knew was going to happen. And people want you to, oh, well, I'm ready to move on. And, I don't want no part of that. I already said I was duped. I already said, yeah, I don't stand by it anymore. So move on. Don't talk about it. Excuse me? What about all the damage that was literally done and the destruction and chaos you caused? The innocent people. Just because you aren't physically looking at the impact this has had on Jack D, Adam, the neighbor, Einen, and I know I don't, I feel weird about Einen, but Einen too, let's be fair. Darren Duncan. Brent's no longer here. Dylan, Bethany, despite myself having questions, let's be real. Just because you do not see how this has impacted their life, the hate they have gotten, the threats they have gotten, potentially lost their jobs, had to move. Just because you have not seen it yet or heard about it yet. Just because you're ready to move on and, oh, well, I don't want you to talk about it anymore. Yes, I did it, but I don't want you to talk about it anymore. And welcome, Miller. I'm sorry, but no. And I told you guys, this is what's going to happen with Kim too. Once trial comes, I think that there's going to be little tiny pieces that parallel some of the things Kim said. Like, some kids knew prior to 911, which we already freaking know technically that is the truth. We just don't know what the source of that communication was and at what time and who exactly knew. And Dylan and Bethany were communicating at the time of the murders. I think that's going to come out. And so people are going to say, see, Kim was right. Are we not going to acknowledge the beheading, the pregnancy, the hands cut off, beaten with a wrench, the drugs, Demetrius, Emma? Okay, Alicia, thank you for being here. Are we not, what people are going to do is not even acknowledge the 99% that was bullshit and focus on the couple of things that happen to be right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Yes. And it'll be as if it never happened. And what I'm trying to bring attention to is the real impact it had along the way. You don't get to just walk away. This case is unlike anything I've ever seen. It really is. I've never covered a case like this. The closest I got to it was the Watts, and the Watts was chaos. Yeah. And it was, we had a Trent Bolt, and Trent Bolt definitely lied and even got so much as sitting down with the FBI and doing an interview and ballsy, but still nothing compared to this as far as the disinformation and the people coming out claiming to be there and craziness. You have done legitimate harm and damage. Yes, the NK Ant channel. Yes, Anyaka, thank you. You've done legitimate harm and damage. And I can't imagine, while panel after panel, night after night after night, while you sat there and spewed your narratives and accusations and lies, and you put people's full fucking names out there as being involved. And if you think people didn't take it upon themselves to reach out to them, to reach out to their places of employment, their school, yeah, they do. They do that shit for petty YouTube drama. You don't think they're going to do that stuff when they are led to believe they are directly involved in a quadruple homicide? Absolutely. But these people are bound by a gag order, scared to death, aren't going to speak out. They're like, we're not going to hear about it right now. But that damage is done. So I don't care that some people are like, well, I walked away, you know, like I don't want to talk about it. No. This is the whole point of you can't do this. Our actions have consequences. And what about the destruction that you caused in your path? So I understand that you may be ready to drop it and you don't want to deal with it anymore. But you had a real impact. This was being fed to the fucking families. People need to think about that before running with bullshit narratives. Yes, that is what I ended up calling drip drop out over, and putting out that person's full house while claiming it was Brent's. Hold on, I gotta. Yes, exactly, Michelle. I love your humor mixed with having common sense. I love it and love your blunt opinion. I'm the same way and I appreciate honest people like you. Thank you, Kay Pisces. The one where Kim threatens Angel. Yep. Brent lied for it. Yep. I'm sorry, not Brent lied. Drip Drop lied about Brent for clicks and views, and I called him out on it. Then had Darren on to try. The whole purpose of that live was to try to chill people out and to answer the questions that they were so desperate to have. But it became so clear. People didn't care what the truth was. They just wanted to believe a story. Listen, the truth is far much more interesting than a story. Why don't you just want to get down to the truth? Yeah. Then he was like, people are parachuting onto the damn patio. It's just crazy. Thank you, Angel.
Being a government contractor. So I really hope is he's alive somewhere and he was just working for the feds on this whole case. That's what I hope. And I've always hoped that.
He worked for the college, and so maybe, I don't know.
Nobody's claiming
it's a small
him.
town.
Nobody's owning him.
Nobody's owning him?
I've asked them. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
No, that's what I thought too. So 2 reports came out. The first day he died, there was one report saying he worked at U of I in tech. He was in the farmhouse frat when he went to U of I, and then he served not in the same battalion as Payne and Payne's brother, but they were all about 5 minutes apart from each other in the same area. That's the first report that came out. The second day, that report's gone, and the new report comes out, and he works at Wazoo in IT or security, but nobody's owning him. So I want to know, because my question was, who's vetting them? Who is vetting these teachers who I am entrusting you with my world and my life savings?
Okay. Fair question. I'm not going to sit here and say that's not a fair question. Who is vetting these teachers? But if Brian didn't have a background report, history of any issues or anything, and he seemed to be he seemed to be a good candidate for a teacher. I don't know about his actual behavior itself, but I'm talking about like on paper. But we asked that type of stuff. Look, Letitia got caught lying about her references, got caught lying about her history, put down Gannon's phone number as a reference for an assistant principal in North Carolina. They called to check her references. Letitia answers, hello. And they're like, yeah, is this, Debbie, the assistant principal? I'm calling, to check Letitia's reference. And they could hear it's Letitia. And they're like, is this Letitia? And she's like, click. They caught her. They hired her. Make it make sense. I don't know why, but yeah, Brent didn't work on campus or anywhere else. He was disabled with a TBI and PTSD. So everything Kim's saying, I understand you have concerns. I could understand you questioning, well, hey, Brian worked as a TA. Well, and my child was a student. Valid concerns. What does that have to do with Brent?
Who? Please tell me
I
who
thought
is
he
vetting
worked
these
IT.
students.
So he
I
didn't work
don't know.
IT?
Nobody's owning it.
Or
I've
he
not had
wasn't
one person
a
that wasn't
security
say
guard?
that.
Was it
I
a
have not had
security
one
guard?
person that wasn't, which is even scarier because if he was a safe walker, that's insane. If he was walking the girls home safely, that's insane. Just like if Koberger was and he did it. I don't know if he did it. I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying he didn't. That's who is vetting these people who are in charge of our children's safety. And they are my children. They are children. They are my children. So they're adults, but whatever. So who's doing it? So it's maddening because it's frustrating because I feel bad saying it too, right? It's such a mixed emotion because I feel bad.
It
because
is.
I feel terrible for this
Yeah,
man.
because when you're watching the ABC thing, yeah, your heart felt for the friend. I mean, seriously, it's like, damn, I can totally put myself. I've had close friends pass. I mean, especially the last 6 years. I'm
gonna jump forward. I'm gonna see if she gets into anything else other than the Kopaka stuff. Let's see.
Sprinkler system go off? It's a dorm. They have to have sprinklers. Wouldn't the alarms have gone off? So then that's not true. That is in one of the articles from Wazoo, from not sure which news organization. When I got the alert, I immediately called. There was somebody there from News Nation and there was somebody there from Fox News, and I called them both and woke them up. And I said, "There's a shooting going on at a coffee house," and they both went. And then they called to tell me. And I happened just to know them because I had called. That's why I first called mainstream media in the beginning, when I didn't feel like the parents were getting answers from.
Answers from what? You got the alerts. You got the alerts. Right, like you got the alerts, but then you feel like you weren't getting information when the school isn't investigating this. This isn't on campus. This was a normal, active investigation. Even the family wasn't getting an open line of communication. But please, Miss Kim WSU mom deserves to know. So I'm going to call the mainstream freaking media.
The police, and when we were reporting and didn't know if they were writing it, like, you know, when we just didn't know in the beginning because you didn't know. And I get they were getting bombarded or whatever, but, you know. So they went there, and so it was Ashley Conklin was, I think, the first person I called, and is she with Fox or I think she's with Fox.
I don't know that name.
I texted Ashley first, and then I texted Isabel's with News Nation, so I must have texted, and I think Enton was there at the time too. I don't know, maybe I can't remember exactly. It was, it was December, so I apologize for my lack of memory on that. But I did text Ashley and Isabel, both of them, and I'm sure they'll remember. I text, but then I stopped because they want me to say what they want me to say, and I'm not going to say that. I'm just not. I'm going to say the truth.
Now, what is that supposed to mean? Okay. I am my own grandpa. Do you think what is that supposed to mean there though? Okay. Do you think the mainstream media was telling Kim what to say? Do you think that? Or do you think they were like, tell us what you know? And they were like, fuck that. We ain't got decapitation, organ removals. They stole Kaylee's heart, pregnancy. Fuck that. So are we more inclined to believe that Kim was like, no, mainstream media. I prefer YouTube. Okay. I don't want to put out the lies you're telling me to put out. Or are we inclined to believe that mainstream media was like, nah, this is a lawsuit waiting to happen. We are not about to put out that misinformation, disinformation.
So, I mean, is there confirmation that it was him? Is it in the article? Is it
that it was him? There's
Yeah.
confirmation that it was Kopaka that came out, and that he was an army vet with PTSD, and he had fought it for years. That SWAT had killed him. That officer, I think it was Officer Boyer is his name, who was SWAT qualified, because Pullman and Moscow don't have SWAT.
Jump.
A lot of them, a lot of messages.
Okay, so there is a YouTuber out there who really has shares a good relationship with a couple of the boys over at Sigma Chi. She believes them, she trusts them, and she genuinely does, and that's fine.
This is about, I believe, Kelly Watsy obsession. Now, this CJ Live was from a long time ago. Okay? So she's referencing Kelly. And sorry, I just want to kind of push past the Brent stuff. I feel like we heard enough about the Brent stuff. So she's referencing Kelly from Watsy Obsession having two of her own sources. See, Miss Ma'am Kim doesn't like that. Miss Ma'am Kim doesn't like that because she doesn't like anybody who's willing to debunk her narratives. So hear how she's even saying, and that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it should be fine, right? If what you're saying is the truth, it should be fine. What's the issue? That it doesn't align with what you're saying? But that's who she's referring to. Kelly Watsy Obsession has her own two sources that she's had since 2 weeks after the murders, two fraternity boys that at first when Dave came out, because Dave is anonymous, all they knew it was that it was another fraternity boy and the details he shared. And at first they thought they figured out who it was, but then they quickly realized, no, that's not who it is. And so they are just after the truth, and they are close to the Chapins, and they said there was no they were not part of anything, but there was no activity outside 1122 King Road at 9:30 or 10 a.m. None.
I don't. What are they hiding, and why are you chasing down Dave? End of story. Yes, I think Sigma Chi has a lot.
What? Excuse me? Wait a second. Take it back now, y'all. Hold on.
Then why are you chasing? She genuinely does, and that's fine. I don't. What are they hiding, and why are you chasing down? She couple of the boys over at Sigma Chi. Shares a good relationship with a couple of the boys over at Sigma Chi. She believes them, she trusts them, and she does. She genuinely does, and that's fine. I don't. What are they hiding, and why are you chasing down Dave?
What are you hiding? She's questioning these two other fraternity boys. What? She trusts them. Kelly Watsy Obsession, she trusts them. I don't. What are you hiding? And why are you chasing down Dave? Why are you chasing down students? You don't believe them? Miss Advocate for the students over here? Or do you mean only the students who are willing to say the narrative that I want them to say? So you're mad because these students debunk what Dave's saying? Yeah, why would you threaten to dox them? You're going to put them in danger and at risk? For what? This is YouTube. At the end of the day, the personal information of these people, it doesn't need to be known. What are you going to get out of it? She could go after everyone else, but leave Dave alone. Shake my head. Exactly. Who's Dave, though? Who's Dave? Why do these people overlap? What are the odds? She said herself she doesn't believe in coincidences, yet we're supposed to believe all of these people had no prior connection, yet now they just all overlap and intertwine with one another.
End of story. Yes, I think Sigma Chi has a lot that they need to say, that a lot of questions that can be answered, but they're not willing to. And I think when you start with Sigma Chi, you can, I think it's public record. You can get all of the students from like whoever's a member of those organizations and who their parents are. And when you look at who the parents are of the students at Sigma Chi, I think you'll find it very, very interesting. And I'll be honest, Jack Showalter's uncle works for the Attorney General. And now the Attorney General's office has 2 attorneys sitting there running the prosecution for Kohberger.
You see what she does? You see what she does? I'm making you believe Jack Showalter has potential ties to this. Why? Why? I don't get it. We have Kohberger who's charged. Then you just went through all of the strange things in your opinions with Kopacka. And now let me bring you along for the fucking ride of how Showalter has all of these connections. Why are you willing to lead people to believe innocent people are involved in this?
Why? They didn't come down for valid, did they?
Nobody's asked me
why?
to research the family. They just said the Sigma Chi. So
I think when you get into Sigma Chi and you start going through it all, you'll see. It really, and Lana has a really good, I think she has a pretty good handle on it. But a Sigma.
Oh, did
Sigma
she do an
Chi
episode on it?
Of Olivia, who I love. She's just the greatest. She's not a kid. She's a kid to me, but she's just a wonderful young woman, and she does a really good job at what she does. But she's done a lot with Greek. Casper West has done a lot with Greek. Yes, I think that would be a really great program too.
And I'm sorry, Olivia doesn't, and she doesn't have the best. I've said to you guys before, I think she is very good at her quality of video production. I've seen her coverage during the Quentin case. I've seen her coverage during the Petito case. I've seen her coverage during Kylie's case. I've seen her coverage during Idaho case. She aligns with Bullhorn Betty and those JLR. I think she wraps it up in a really nice bow, but she's part of I don't think she's I can't just look at her information and if she says she vets it, take her word for it.
To break it all down. I can break it down as a mom, but you know, for some kids it's great, for others it's not. I don't understand why those 2 boys are looking to find Dave. What do you want to do to Dave?
Why do they want to do anything? Who have you spoke to these boys? How do you know what they're looking to do? Maybe do they want to know who this kid is because that they are that group Dave is claiming to be from? If Dave is claiming to be from literally their group, is it so crazy that they're trying to understand, well, who is Dave? Because he is claiming to know things that we don't know and we're running in the same circle. Maybe they don't want to do anything to Dave. It doesn't have to be some dark, damn, gosh darn, you're involving these kids in some really dark things, okay? I know that if somebody anonymously spoke out from my like friend group, and there was like 10 of us, damn right, I've been like, and they have a voice changer, and we all went to a party, and they're claiming things happened at a party that I didn't see happen. I would be trying to figure out who is that? Like, who is that? Because they claim that they're from our group. They claim they were at the same party, yet I don't know what that information is. Doesn't mean I want to go and hurt them, my dear Lord.
You want to beat him up? Tell him to shut up? What are you hiding?
Whoa. Whoa.
What the? Okay, what the?
That escalated so quickly. What? You want to beat them up? Beat Dave up? Ms. Ma'am, I highly doubt they're going and they're asking who Dave is, because they plan on going over like Johnny Bravo and maybe they're just like, new phone, who dis? Like, who is this? I just want to know who this is. I want to understand, because what we experience is not the same thing they experience. Not so that they could go and fucking Rambo his ass. What? Why is everything so extreme with you? Why is everything so extreme with you, Kim? Come on. Like, no, Dave is not in legitimate danger. Hey. What is it? You want to go beat him up? Jeez, Lord.
You want to beat him up? Tell him to shut up? What are you hiding? Like, what is wrong with you?
Just because they don't believe Dave means they want to beat him up and shut him up and get him to stop talking? Have you for ever one moment, Miss Ma'am Kim, thought that maybe Dave was lying? No, Jim John Doe, no, right? Because it aligns with your narrative. But fuck these kids. Fuck these kids, even though I'm acting like I'm the fucking leader of all these kids. Come to mama, come to mother. I will save you. I will protect you. I will lead the way, despite not having my own child speak to law enforcement or sign a sworn statement. I have you. But now, if you do not go with my theory, I'm going to attack you. What is this? And people ate it up. They ate it up. They loved it.
If you were my child, I'd ground you at 21. Like, what's wrong with you?
You'd ground these? You'd ground them? What did they do? Said I don't believe Dave? Dun, dun, dun. What an atrocity. How the audacity. What?
Grow up.
Oh.
This is not, it's not a movie. It's life, and children died. Like,
exactly. The lack of self-awareness is astonishing. It is not a movie. It's real life. Real people. You accused real people of being involved. It was a rotating door of who you accused. And it's not a movie. These are legitimate people. Those were legitimate victims that you claimed had their heart stolen, were pregnant, had their hands cut off, head decapitated. What about them? That is what it's called. It's called projecting. You are projecting everything you are doing and pointing the finger at the ones calling it out.
wrong with you? Honestly.
I have a good question. Somebody brought up in chat here a little bit back up. Now were there holes? What about his apartment? Were there holes in his apartment? What do you mean, MK? I'm curious what you're asking. And
He didn't live in an apartment.
I was
Bullet
thinking
holes?
this was asking something else. How would the school be able to cover that up? The bullet holes in the building.
Well, so remember it was
Wouldn't
December
there?
15th.
Okay.
So where are the kids going? And most kids didn't even know until they got home.
Oh,
So,
Miss Ma'am has an answer for everything. So the school now covered up this shooting down to the holes. They're coming in with spackle real quick. Just come on. Holy macro. Where were they? Most didn't even know. Bitch, you knew at 3:30. You knew in the midst of it happening. You even knew they didn't clear the dorms fully. But now you're telling me you didn't know if a team of fucking carpenters or what's the ones who do walls? Not carpenters. I don't know. The wall people. And they're spackling away. Are you telling me you didn't see them? You saw they didn't clear the dorms fully, but you didn't see them spackling no bullet holes? Fuck out of here, Kim. But she has an answer for everything. She has more than an answer for everything. She has 8 answers for everything.
by the time I got a hold of my daughter before I got a hold of my son. And now I'm going to tell you this. People will say I'm lying. I'm going to tell you, I lie about my kid's location all the time, and I'm not going to change that.
You're lying.
I'm sorry, but
Right.
I'm just not.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm going to not tell you where
Right.
they are at the moment I'm never going to do that.
You shouldn't.
So I'm not going to disclose their location. So I'm sorry about that, but it's for their own good, for their protection.
Nobody wants to know where
and
your
mine
kids are.
knowledge that they're protected. So you have to deal with. I mean, people just have to get over it. If they
Hey.
don't.
Who wants to get over? Nobody wants to know where your kids currently are in real time. Who is giving you issues about that? Who would even care? What? If you have a problem with that, you're just going to have to deal with it. No, I am not dropping a pin on my child's current location. Fuck no, you shouldn't. Who's going to disagree?
Hey.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Right. And
You
so
have
there's
to.
he never saw bullet holes. He didn't even know about it. They took a busload of kids from the coffee house apartments, which is under Coug housing. Coug housing is just like the dorms. My son lived in a single dorm.
Okay.
So his building, I don't know what part of his building.
Same.
He wasn't awake. Slept right through it. Didn't even know. Not a clue.
I swear, and I need Shay, man. I swear we have somewhere else where she said he wasn't even home at the time. I swear, man. And I will find it.
I thought you said there was bullet holes in the building or something.
There
didn't
were
you?
in the building, but they had no idea. Most of the kids, even the kids that's what I'm saying. Even the kids in coffee house slept
Then how'd you know? How'd you know, Kim?
through it. Some of them just woke up in the morning and didn't even know. And the school is saying that they've evacuated the building. So what we got.
So her child's dorm, not in the same apartments Brent lived in. Her son's dorm got crossfire and there were bullet holes. That's not what... Harley, correct me if I'm wrong. But that's not what I recall the police report. I'm trying to think. That doesn't sound accurate. Yes, specifically, even within Brent's apartment, there was no bullet holes, and that was what was odd about it. But she's saying, is she saying her son's dorms? Which situation, Kay Pisces? This is
from our message. We get a phone call, right? And I answered at 3:30, obviously. And it's there is a active SWAT. There's an active shooting. SWAT is on scene. All students are advised to shelter in place. Classes, we'll let you know about classes tomorrow. That, I think, was the essence of what that was. So, of course, right, I'm awake. My husband is now awake because I've made him be awake. And I'm waking up my children, and my daughter's awake, but my son's just sleeping through. And it's his side of campus. And of course, I don't want my daughter to go there because, so you can't get a hold of anybody. You can't get a hold of the RA. You can't get a hold of anybody. I called the police department. I'm like, hey, it's me. Because obviously they know my voice by now. Because,
Really? Welcome, Wilby. Thank you for becoming a member. Wait, they know your voice, but hey, it's me. Okay, NK. Okay, NK. Really? They know your voice so much by the time the Kopaka situation happened. That's how much she's called. Which just shows more that you were so desperate for anything, if that is true. Because at the time, Kara, anytime Kim came on, numbers jumped. They jumped. Not only did numbers jump, super chats flooded in because there would be so many questions. People would super chat to get their question highlighted and read. People thought it was finally the answers, and so they wanted to support. Subscriber growth going up. And so when you see that versus when you aren't hosting that, you're going to get tempted as a creator to, all right, I'm going to, I want to entertain that a little bit, because you're going to want that rolling in. Not caring, unfortunately, about the damage it's doing. Yep, and they do, Blue.
They're terrible. And so I like what's going on, and they put me on with they don't know, and she puts me on with somebody who's like an affiliate. I think they're in Olympia, Washington. They're not even in Pullman. You couldn't even get farther away. And then
okay.
Yeah. So then, right. So
Christina.
Olympia?
Wait, and nothing's gonna Olympia, Washington, I think is where they put me to. Olympia.
Wow.
And so, so I am.
It's like on
but
the other
before
side.
before I called anybody,
She cut herself off. Wow. She just yapped herself right off. Damn. Because I don't want to talk to you.
Are you still there?
Please no.
Can't see me though, right?
No, I can't.
We're
Nope.
good. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Eventually I will come out. I will eventually
You're
when it's
fine.
all over.
And she did. And that's what started me even having this conversation all over again. Is because I was like, wait a second. I see Kim's face for the first time. She yeeted herself out the sunroof. She just talked herself away. All of that carbon cone out of her mouth. She just rose up like a balloon with the helium. Woo! Even the microphone don't want to hear it. Oh, that's funny. Even the microphone was like, nah, fuck this. Oh, man. Oh, fuck. Okay. But this is... She did eventually come out. And that's what started this whole discussion all over again. Because it made me mad. Because the photos did not align with the person we were told was vetted. Okay?
Come out. You will see me. Honestly,
You're
I
fine.
promise. I'm
You're
real.
fine.
But so I called Ashley Conklin, who I think is Shadow Fox or one of them, and then Isabel from News Nation. But I don't think she was local there. I think Brian Anton was. But anyway, and I told them, and I know Ashley immediately went there. But because that's the only information I could get. And then I called everybody else and got on the phone with everybody else, trying to wake them up. But my son was asleep. Kids were asleep still in the building. They did evacuate some kids and they took them to Stephen or the gym, wherever the Martin, whatever it is, gym. And then they took them to the locker room so they could go and shower, go take their finals, because they did have class after Kopaka.
So your son was asleep when
done.
they showed up?
So there's a whole thing. And he wasn't, yes, but so were kids in coffee house. All of the kids were asleep. Like another apartment, they didn't evacuate his. They evacuated the one next door to his. And I can't remember the name of the one.
So his wasn't the one that got evacuated, the one
It
next
wasn't.
door.
It wasn't, right. But
okay.
right. But they did say that two of the dorms, which would have been his, and I think it was Stevenson and, well, he doesn't live there now, Olympia. But and you have to understand that this is how we're getting the information, little pieces of information. So then we have a parent site that we can get on that only parents of Wazoo students can be a part of. And nobody's got any information. Nobody's telling us anything. We just know that a month ago, 4 children were slaughtered.
Yeah, but if it has no... Yeah. She accused Dylan and Bethany of being awake, alert, and aware, messaging back and forth. But she said that Dylan and Bethany were locked on the first floor. And sorry, because I'm trying to remember. That there was 5 people. The girls saw one of there was a weird guy outside, a shady, sketchy. What word did she use? A weird guy or sketchy? I don't remember what word she used. Which she later said was most likely Brian, but they know of the 4 other people who were in the house. She associated them with drugs. Creepy. Thank you. There was a creepy guy. I was way off, man. Damn. There was a creeper outside. And that she named the people, first and last names. They were actual freaking students of being inside the house. And that essentially Dylan and Bethany were completely aware of what happened. And that sent out the messages telling everybody. And I'm trying to remember if she claimed they were cleaning up or flushing drugs. See, she went on so many different panels and it evolved so much. But yes, she very much intertwined Dylan and Bethany into knowing, after in the very beginning completely advocating for them.
And now there's SWAT on our...
Okay, I'm jumping forward.
And that's super sad because my kids have great memories from there. We have great memories as family from there. But it's just gone. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, and with you having children there, you have an experience beyond what we have because, we don't.
Well, and the thing is, and I can get wound up about it too. And then for them to come out drunk turkeys and turn it on them like they're being dramatic or they're letting somebody say something is wrong.
So what you were saying something when you first hopped up to back to that. So it was your conversation that wasn't even put out there is what
I can't be for 100% certain if it was mine or not.
Right,
I know I had
right,
a
because it's
conversation
not
with them
them.
about
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a conversation with them about them. So I don't know if it was me or not, but I want everybody to know if it were me, this is what I said, and this is why I said it. And nobody in the mainstream media came to me and asked me. And if Kopaka's friend wants, or his family wants to come and ask me why I said what I said, this is why I said what I said. And don't.
It just makes me so mad because I say what I say and I accuse people of being involved and I slander people and defame people even after they're dead. And if you have a problem with it, you come to me and ask me. Why should they have to do that? And it just further shows how she was very much talking to all these creators behind the scenes, and then they would take the information and use it publicly.
Don't come at them because they did vet me. They do know a lot. I think you probably know more than most people. I am an open book, but I'm not open publicly. I can't do that. I have children.
Right.
But privately, I am. And I will have a conversation with any parent or Kopaka's friend or I'm not coming down on him and his mental illness and what he's given
None
to this
of us
country.
are.
I greatly appreciate. Right.
None of us are.
Right.
That's not what this show is about. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't want his friend or family to hurt. I don't. And no student died. He did, apparently. But there's a part of me that thinks, I hope he didn't. I mean, honestly, but I can't.
I hope he didn't. Whoa. You hope he didn't? So now we're going to entertain the idea that Brent is still alive? That's what we're doing now? So which one is it? Are you terrified and outraged because this man, this weird man, older man living amongst college-age students, held his roommates hostage and then there was a standoff? Or do you believe that there was some type of cover-up going on and Brent is still alive? So it was all just a hoax.
Trust anything that's coming out of the authorities' mouth. And I have told them that time and again, and I will tell them that forever.
I don't trust anything coming out of the authorities' mouth. Yet, the source of all of the information I'm getting is allegedly from an ISP officer. And I confronted her about that on my panel. I said, wait a second, you can't pick and choose when you think law enforcement is corrupt. They're either corrupt or they're not corrupt. But you're sitting here and when it fits your narrative, you say they're corrupt. And then when it fits your narrative in another light, you say it's literally an ISP officer who's giving me this, as if you can trust them. Then they're not corrupt. So which one is it? I heard the same thing, Miller.
I think they lie. They have been lying to us.
Yeah.
I think.
And I don't, all I know is from what I know over here, and all of it is just until it's in a court of law.
Right.
It's always going to be speculation. This is a good question from Commercial Zone. He wants me to, or they want me to ask you if your son or his friends actually saw BLK hanging around the campus, around off-campus housing. There's talk he didn't even live at the coffee house.
That's exactly right. They have no idea who he is.
Good question.
They have really good question. And that's kind of the bottom line. The kids don't know who he is. They don't know who the roommates are. The kids don't really believe it happened. They don't know.
Wow. Are you telling me that these kids know every literal you said yourself he was an older guy, disabled veteran with PTSD. He's not hanging out at the college parties. It's a college campus town area. So just because your son didn't directly know Brent or seen him hanging around campus, which why would he? With your own logic, it wouldn't make sense. You don't believe it even happened? Yeah, and she speaks for all the students. Do you see how it just... Now we're going to go into the territory of Brent Kopacka, and his entire death was all a hoax. How is this okay? Like, it's okay to theorize and it's okay to speculate, but it takes it way too far, man. It really does. This isn't putting our thoughts together with the facts that we know and bouncing ideas off of one another and trying to come up with a logical conclusion. This crosses that line 10 times over, in my opinion.
Yes, they know who Koberger is because he was a teacher, but my son does because he's in the same program. Well, he's pre-law, but he's so he was the room next door. But no, they have
told ya. Her son also happens to be in the same program Brian Koberger's in, and he was in the literal room next door. Her son shared a wall with Koberger's classroom. Just like everybody in Justin's family is intertwined in this case.
No idea who Kopacka was. They have no clue who he was.
Why would they?
They don't believe it even happened, I think.
Wow.
That's what I've gotten back from them. They're like,
okay,
no
hold on. So the friends don't even think that the SWAT thing happened?
Yeah, I think they don't think that it did because they can't find the roommates and everybody.
I know everybody's. Even Rory was digging, and he was like he couldn't even find out who the roommates were.
Why would they put a 20-year-old with a 38-year-old? And isn't Kopacka married? Doesn't he have children? He owns a home in Illinois, and he rents a property in Spokane.
Where'd you get that information, Kim? Drop of the drip? Where'd you get the information? And yeah, because Rory is so reliable. Oh, hold on. I feel a text coming on. Oh, right now. Somebody's texting him right fucking now. I could feel it. So now they don't even think it happened. The whole thing. And it feels so weird for me to be on the opposing end of this because let me be clear, I'm very much aware of corruption, of cover-ups, of false flags, of hoaxes. I'm usually the one trying to tell people about them, but never am I going to take like a current active case and just because we don't have some answers, jump to these types of conclusions. It's dangerous. Drop of the drip, yes. Sorry, calling him right fucking now. Shit.
So that's why I hope that, he works for the feds and he's safe and he was undercover. That's what I hope.
What? And these people, oh my God, bless their hearts. They're like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right. That makes sense. You know what? Forget what I just said a minute ago. Fuck that. I'm with you. This didn't even happen. Did you see the bullets or not? Did the guy come in with the spackle or not? Now, why would there be bullets if it didn't happen? You're contradicting yourself, Miss Ma'am.
And I don't think that's a far-fetched idea. I mean, maybe it
Really?
is. I don't know.
I don't know. I never.
It is. It is. Let me tell you why it is. False flags and hoaxes happen a lot. You will see a motive of why, because for a false flag and a hoax to happen, the people on the smaller scale don't even know. When an FF, and that's what I'm going to call it because I'm going to get flagged for it, but when an FF or a hoax happens, it is literally just a few at the top who control it. And everybody below, they don't know what's going on. So the everyday officers who are on scene don't know. The SWAT who would go there usually would have no idea. Like, it's just the few at the top. But you would know because you would see a reason of why, like an agenda being pushed. Now, with this quadruple homicide, it makes no sense for that to be the case, because what are they getting at it? Like, why would they do that for this? It doesn't make sense.
It's just bizarre.
It is.
The whole thing is
but
bizarre.
I just never thought that. I don't know. I mean, I have had people come in chat and say, "Hey, I think he's alive. Hey, I appreciate your opinion." I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I hope he is. I do hope he is.
It seems crazy.
It is crazy because, like, why?
That the memorial and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like.
But when was the memorial? I don't think anybody even knows when that was. And the school says they didn't hire him. He didn't work there.
No, Brent didn't work there. Stop. Good night, Michelle. Mwah. She doesn't even go here. Why would the school? What? Like, they have no involvement. No, they didn't hire him. Brent didn't work there. Why do you keep involving this damn school with it?
So are they just telling us so we don't sue them?
No.
Well, where'd this him working at the school for the IT? Where did that even?
I think it's in the news articles. I think if you were to look up the Evergreen, it might be there. I don't know if it's still there. I might have screenshotted it because I started screenshotting stuff when I realized stuff gets taken down, which I didn't know. See, I didn't know any of this before this all occurred, and I had information and then I couldn't find things. I thought, oh, maybe I should screenshot that and put it in a file, which is so beyond my depth of knowledge with tech. But I learned how, and so I did. I tried. I mean, we'll see if I can pull it back, but things just go away, I mean, they just go away. It's like, I'm not crazy. I know what I've heard. I know what I've been told. The kids all know that this apparently happened. It was on the news for a minute, but it was a minute. I would think that a SWAT shooting at a college is a huge thing.
Exactly. Hello, listen to yourself. If they went through, if you think it's easy to pull off an FF or a hoax, it's not. They can, but it's not. They're not going to just do it for anything. But do you think they went through all that effort for something that didn't even stay on the news for a hot minute, then what the fuck was the point? Just to make fool you, Mom Kim? Does that make sense? When they do something to that level, it's for national spotlight and to push an agenda. That's for a purpose. It's for a reason. Not just for what? What does that make sense? Yes, apparently they do. These are the Letitia Stauks of YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, with what took place, a hostage situation. I mean, I have the videos
That's what I was saying,
from the local
Happy.
news.
I
I
didn't
did
remember
find
where, though I
some
heard it.
this weekend that were talking about, you know, the whole situation.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember. Was it on Rory's? I think it was on the last panel. I heard her say her son was home at the time. Yeah, yes.
Right.
So,
but did you
then
get that
again,
he threw his gun? I thought his gun was outside the window. So, and there was a change in his. There's so many different things
all I know
think they're
is
purposely putting bad information out.
Or you're just a fucking idiot.
Right?
what were the coordinates about leading to a park in California that he posted on his Facebook right before he passed?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I haven't even
All right, let's
looked at.
jump.
It's very sad. It's a sad time.
I don't know. I just want the that's all I care about. The only thing I care about is the right people who are involved.
The right people.
Convicted.
Right.
The families get justice 100%.
And Steve gets to talk freely and say whatever the hell he wants every day of every week.
Right.
And the thing is, Brian isn't.
Yeah, we saw, though, in the alleged messages between Brat and Steve, how he felt about the information you were pushing, right? But do you really? Like, we all wanted Steve to be able to talk freely. But I think you're taking advantage of the fact that there's a gag order. And they're not able to speak out and correct this information. I mean, technically, can the families? Yeah. If they're not being called as witnesses for anything. But they're going to be advised not to.
In an orange jumpsuit for a reason. What'd you do, dude? That's what I'd say to my kid.
Yes,
sure.
Blackthorn.
What'd you do? You're here.
I know. And that's why that actually specifically is one of the reasons why I said if you have questions about the situation with Brent in its own, that's okay. You know, like if, hey, like, looking at that situation, like, why was he killed? Like, did this standoff go the way it went down? Okay, fair enough. It didn't need to become intertwined, though, with the quadruple homicide. That's where it really went wrong.
I guess there was some stuff coming out about his dad today, though. I don't know. I haven't checked it. Like I said, I only get 15 minutes in between work and the show, and so I didn't get to check anything out. But I don't know. I figured we'd go into it another night. I don't know. I just heard something, and I'm just like, I'm gonna wait a minute because.
And there was some information I didn't know if I was dreaming or if it was real about.
Yeah.
There is some information out there right now that is, and I don't even know who brought. Was it Susie? Susie has had good information too.
Oh, I'm
lately.
telling you,
She always does. She's a brilliant.
Trying to go on them talk shows and Netflix and stuff, just because of what happened to Drunk Turkey Show.
Right, and the thing is, lay people don't think it was that bad. I can tell you, I'm a lay person. I thought they did amazing. I thought they outshone everybody else that was on there. I think that if you're talking to, so how many of us are Wazoo? 35,000 and 25,000 at U of I. 60,000 parents you're talking to, and you're saying you're crying about your best friend, but guess fucking what? Sorry, I swore. Sorry. Guess what? Your friend put our children in harm's way. And
or did he? Because you're saying you guys don't even think it happened. Make up your mind. Oh, did I miss a name? I didn't hear the name. But I heard I don't know, half the time if I'm dreaming. Well, maybe that's the problem. If you can't differentiate, well, shit, was that a dream or was that real life? Maybe you should go back and verify things a little bit more before running with it. But again, you're very inconsistent. Because you're saying, you guys don't even think it happened. Okay.
how many of us are Wazoo? 35,000 and 25,000 at U of
I
I.
heard her.
60,000 parents you're talking to, and you're saying you're crying about your best friend, but guess fucking what? Sorry, I swore. Sorry. Guess what? Your friend put our children in harm's way. And guess what? That's not okay. They've already come through the ringer. They're barely hanging on. We are barely hanging on as people. And you're crying and the news is buying it? Who's feeding the news?
But that's what I mean. Like, so they didn't know.
Who are you to ever question Darren for crying that his best friend died? You're sick. That was his best friend, and I can confirm, because he showed me, he shared his kids with him. He shared his life with him. He had lived with him for a period of time. That was his friend. And for you to say that as he opens up and mourns that loss, and the only reason he had to come forward and open up because he was being accused and Brent was being slandered and accused after death, and he isn't here to defend himself, so his friend stepped up to do it. Kim, that's really fucked up.
Nothing about him, right? They didn't even know who he was.
No.
Like, how did they know that it was him, though?
They said
like,
he
if
was
they didn't
in
know
the
who.
In the 911, in the whole thing that Jay 411, and she's actually, it's long, but she cut it down a lot for you to listen to, and you can speed through part of it. And you got to get past the police officer. She wants her coffee. She wants it really badly, and she wants her coat. I'm thinking, you got a SWAT guy. You got a guy willing to kill kids, and you want your coffee. Okay, fine. And you'll understand that when you listen to it. But there's no urgency here. You got a protected person. His name is Brent. That's all you get. His name is Brent.
Listen. They're trained to stay calm. They're literally trained for these situations. Now, listen, I've also heard, I won't say that there haven't been things released where I haven't said to myself, wow, like, you're being this chill in this type of situation? Of course. But they're trained. So how you would react and respond is exactly why you can't be there. The same way they won't let parents in with their kids as they're getting medical procedures, right? You're going to react on emotion. I'm trained to look at the task at hand and do my job. They won't even let a mom, at least back in the day, they wouldn't even let moms be in the same room when a kid gets stitches because you're going to freak out. You're going to freak out and it's going to freak the kid out more. We need to do our job, and the job is to get the stitches in and sew this up. They're trained. Those are officers trained specifically for these exact situations. Angel T. Yes. Yeah, there were snitches, so they got the stitches. All right. She's talking about the Brent Kopaka 911 dislike audio. And, at one point, like, I guess someone saying that, like the officer needs her coffee or something. Listen, officer probably needed to be awake and alert. But the way you would be reacting is not the same way that these trained officers are going to be reacting. That's the exact point. They're able to stay calm, level-headed, separate themselves. You don't have to like it, but that's what they're trained to do.
He's a protected person. What does that mean? Does that mean he's undercover? Does that mean he's what? What does protected mean? He's special needs? Because we have a new special needs program at the school, which is a wonderful program. And I hope
this has nothing. Oh my God. I swear to God. I swear if she associates this school again, Brent had nothing to do with the school. He was a grown ass man, disabled vet on disability income, just living in this apartment in a college town. No, they over dispatch are not going to be referring to whatever special program the fucking school has.
they continue it on. And we really do. We have a beautiful program for kids who have Down syndrome and have special needs. Beautiful program. Is that who he is? And that's why he's 38 with these 20-year-olds? Who is your person who is protected?
Did you just speculate if Brent had Down syndrome? What is this woman? What is she talking about? Is that who Brett is? Is that who Brett is? Is it? You think Brett is part of the special needs program for students with Down syndrome? Are you listening to yourself? Maybe because he was a veteran. Did you think of that? Maybe that, a special circumstance. They pull your shit up anytime. They look you right up. You don't think they could pull right up that he's a veteran? That he would have his own weapons? Kim. Come on, man.
Right?
So Jay for Justice did a episode on it?
Yeah, she did. And she did it on 411. She's done a lot. She does a lot of good content too, actually.
Is it
she
still up? Yeah, I love her.
Yeah,
I
love her too. She actually had something this weekend that was that's the one who said there's this whole thing she found about, well, it's very interesting. And I don't even want to dissect it because I don't understand it. And she was just opening it up and reading it kind of live to everybody. And she does a great job. And I had to go, so I couldn't finish it.
Yeah,
I love her. And so I don't want to comment on what it was about, but it was very, very interesting. And I think it was very telling and important information.
Do you remember what the title of it was? And then
it was Saturday. I think it was Saturday, and I don't know what. It was Saturday. I can try and find it, but it's a crap.
Yeah, if you can do me a favor, maybe we'll, because I definitely it'd definitely be an interesting, because I know Rory said that there was like a there's a 3-hour in like an 8-hour version or something.
Yeah.
He went over that he was talking
Right.
about last night.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Okay.
But here's the thing about that thing though. And so maybe she cut it down through the 3-hour from the 8-hour.
And here's the thing about that thing. I'm going to make that a fucking shirt. And here's the thing about that thing.
And I didn't see darkness, but it was always light. And so I felt like that was very interesting. It was always light out when she did that. So it was never dark out. I don't understand that. And so it could have been because she cut it down from 8 to 3, right? She could have cut the dark hours out because it was quiet time. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, in 8
but I just
hours,
kept thinking it's all light. Yeah, it was 8 hours. But for us, it was only an hour. So I don't know. Should we send a thank you note for cutting our angst down by 7 hours? I don't know. Should I send you a thank you note?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check that out. Because it was interesting. Rory came up and said that, Rory, let me know. I never got that email.
And I think if Rory's over there, you should go talk to Heather in the dean's office. She's lovely, and she's my go-to. And
Heather and the dean, don't drag Heather from the dean's office into this. Good night, Wolfie. Don't drag Heather from the dean's office into your shit.
I really like her, and you can use my name. I'm fine with it.
You can use my name. No, she did not. Like she has pull. You could use my name. Bitch, they'd hang up. Heather's gonna hang up if he uses your name. What do you want him to call and say? For real, like what do you want him to call Heather and ask? Use your name? I
don't know. She may hate me now, but she did in the beginning. But he's welcome to go in if that's a contact for him, if he's over there.
Okay.
She was very forthcoming.
Protected.
Person is Miss Potts might know. Or
see Gina. That's right. Okay. Thank you. Out that they're explaining and you know, even Sleuthy Goosey was going through it. You know, it's just like.
The thing is, I don't think Idaho ever thought for 1 second this case would get this kind of attention at all. Do you? I think they're shocked by it. I think they're shocked by the absolute force behind these 4 students being brutally killed. I think they are. And they did not know that they were going to get this kind of reaction from the public. That's what I think. You know? Did I lose you?
No, you're good. No.
So that's what I think, and I think that's.
Oh my God! She asks a question and then she does not let him answer, and then she answers herself. My goodness!
I don't even think the car has anything to do with it. If they had DNA in the car, it'd be done.
Okay. Investigator Kim. She doesn't just talk. She knows now how the investigation goes. Listen, we all speculate about that. Okay, fair enough. I get it. But bitch, you don't know. You don't know what they have. Maybe they have something that they're going to pull out. Okay, I don't know. This go-go gadget arms. Yo, Kim, I am not about to listen to you act like you know the ins and outs of law enforcement, okay? So cut that out. We're not going there, okay? Hi, Stars Align.
It'd be done. It'd be over. There's no DNA in the car. They've had it
DNA
way too long.
Under fingernails. That would, you know, especially with those types of crimes.
Sure.
There would
fingernails. Oh, but Kim said hands were cut off. Don't let her fool you. Don't forget. Because she said the victim's hands were bagged, not because it's protocol to preserve DNA underneath the fingernails of the victims if they scratched the killer. It's because the hands were cut off. You think she's going to mention that part? No, right? She's just going to Kimbleweed along.
Usually there's, especially...
Right. But...
You got to wait for try.
Well, yeah, because he's not going to settle. And I don't know if he did it or not. My feeling is that he did something, but I don't know what he did. But his car wasn't present. His phone wasn't present. His DNA is not present.
Wait, his car was present. His phone was pinging in the area at least the day after the murder, the morning up after, and his DNA is there. Let that sink in, okay? All of that was not accurate. His car was there. His phone disconnected from the network, but it pinged 12 times prior and was there the morning after the murders. And his DNA was there on the button of the knife sheath under the fucking victim. So what do you mean, Miss Ma'am, when you say his car wasn't there, his phone wasn't there, and his DNA wasn't there? There's ATS News. ATS News. Your comment came up like 2 hours ago, it felt like, on the screen from this old live we were playing, and we were giving you so much credit because you were calling shit out back then, and it was awesome.
It's just not. Otherwise, they would tell us. They want Fry wants to be right.
Otherwise, they would tell us. Did she just say that? If there was, they would tell us. No, they wouldn't. Do you think they give a shit about us in the long run? What's more important? Satisfying us now or convicting the killer who slaughtered 4 students? Kim, shut your mouth.
Here, he wants a win here, but he's shut up, and he's not shut up because he wants to be or because he has to be. He's shut up because he wants to be.
No,
the judge is listening to the law enforcement.
Oh, stop it.
I don't know why. I think it's bigger than this. I think that what the FBI said about being parallel crimes is true, and
parallel crimes.
Well, that's what so
when the hell I don't even have anything.
There are parallel crimes involved in this crime. So this isn't the only crime that's involved in this. This is so when you listen to Lana's got a lot of everything. You know how she's I got it. I'm good. I'm like, well, or if you were in this position, if you could put parents out of their misery, what do you do?
Kim thinks she could put parents out of her misery. Kim, honest question. Do you think what you're doing is putting parents out of their misery? Or do you think you're contributing to that misery? Do you think telling parents that their daughter was decapitated, heart was ripped from her body, hands chopped off, one of them was pregnant, Ethan was beaten and tortured with a wrench, do you think that brings peace and answers to the families?
Knowing how the law works now. It's very, it's a struggle, actually. I wonder what people think. Like, is he doing the right thing? Is he innocent? He's doing the right thing by biding his time so that he gets double jeopardy applies.
It seems like they're doing, I don't know, I'm coming off with the impression that the defense is, ever since she took over, I feel like she has been doing, you know, I would like I've always said, I would, if I had a public defender, I would love to have a public defender that's going to do all that. I mean, like,
and what she's going to do.
I don't know.
Exactly. Ann Taylor is his best option. So what makes you guys think if he isn't guilty, if he's innocent, if all of these narratives that Kim claims occurred actually did, what makes you think Ann Taylor isn't going to expose this all? And if what Kim was saying was true, why wasn't Kim's daughter brought in for the grand jury indictment? She wasn't even made to sign a sworn statement. You think Anne, who is looking for any exonerating evidence? No, not exculpatory. I'm sorry, not exonerating. Any exculpatory evidence, she's not going to look into this. And if there was something to it, we would have known.
And what part of the PCA does it state they have video of the subject? We can go into the PCA here in a minute. I don't remember a page on the PCA that says they have video of the suspect.
You know who knows that is Annie Potts knows that. She knows it backwards, forwards, and frontwards. And like, she's so good at that. But I will
let me know what page.
I will tell you, Ann Taylor's gotten clients off before, but one of them killed again. So that doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
Just because you can doesn't mean, right? I mean, I guess if you break. So
but that's your job, though. Your job is
her job.
You know.
That's her job, right? But he is in prison now.
No. Jail.
The guy she got off before, he is in jail now. I don't know where or whatever. But
no. I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Their
I was shocked.
Is off the chain.
Oh, for sure. I was shocked how Steve's attorney represented himself in court when we were watching it. I was just wow. It almost like he was arguing. I mean, I don't know. The judge was acting a little weird too, but
I didn't. So I'll tell you, Steve's attorney's just come off a suspension. Steve's attorney's gotten out. Yeah, so let me qualify this. So before everybody goes crazy, I don't know what he was suspended for. I don't think it was major. It was just a minor suspension. He's passionate. He believes in the law. He believes in his clients. Yeah, you can tell that. He believes in the breadth of the law. And I don't know if he I think he's very, 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 very determined not to get suspended again, not to make another mistake. And he wants pure clarification in writing, in black and white, so it doesn't happen again. I don't think he did anything major. It's nothing major. He's a very good attorney, very smart. He knows the law, and he knows clients, and he can. I think I'm not sure, but I thought he did maybe both sides of the law. But he has been in trouble. He did his time, whatever. I mean, his suspension. But I think he wants to be really, really definitely clear that he's not going to get suspended again.
I love how she talks for everyone and puts everyone's business out there. She's looked into everybody. But again, if you're advocating for this lawyer and saying he knows what he's doing, if you knew the truth about his client's child, the victim, by what you're saying, then he'll uncover the truth. You have nothing to worry about.
I don't know how many times you get till you're done, like till you lose license for good. So I think that's part of it, and he should be that way. He should actively be seeking not to be suspended again.
Yeah, I mean, he had like, he was trying to speak for the family. Totally got that.
Yeah.
It was the interaction with the judge. It's like,
Okay, I'm
bro.
gonna jump.
Guys' company and
Hold on.
conversation.
Ooh.
If you're gonna say something that's wrong, I'm going to correct you.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Excuse me? If you're going to say something that's wrong, I'm going to correct you. Because Kim gets to determine what is and isn't true. That's lovely, Kim.
Oh. She might be getting a call or something. I think this is what happens when she gets a call. Thank you for the.
I think this is what happens when she gets a call. I don't know if she comes back up at all. I kind of hope she doesn't, because, oh, my head hurts from Kim. No, it looks like she doesn't. But that's nice. If she hears someone with the wrong information, she is going to correct them, because it's Kim. And she knows everything about this case. Oh, it's so frustrating, guys. I can't. I just can't. And like I said, with Dot, I gave Dot the opportunity to show receipts. Nothing came from it. But from my conclusion at this point, and I'm going to leave it open, obviously for any new information to come through. But as far as I'm concerned with Dot, I don't think Dot just came about with this case the way the others seem to have. It seemed like Dot has a history with other cases doing very similar things. So I'm not sure. I think as of now, I think Dot just kind of like popped up and did the same things that Dot has done in the past as far as trolling, and jumped on the bandwagon. But there's definitely overlapping with Justin and Kim. So, and I don't know about Dave though. So that's just the part that it makes me go like, oh, all right. But that may have happened along the route because they all intertwined with the same creators. And then just to circle back around to what I was talking about at the beginning of the live, that the messages that we went over could never state with 100% certainty that they are verified. I'm inclined to believe that they are. Welcome, Sky R31. Thank you so much for joining. Could never state 100% that they are legitimate. Inclined to believe that they are. I still stand by that. Is it possible to fake those screenshots? Yes. Is it possible to fake those screen recordings? Yes. Even though in the video that one creator put out to try to prove that it could be done, there was a lot of things that didn't line up with the screen recording between allegedly Brad and Steve that we saw. But I stated to you guys the list of reasons of why I believe it's legit, but it was less about, ooh, what did Steve say in this? Because I don't think the trust should have been broken to begin with and release Steve's messages, and more about, wow, the narratives that these people, these trolls, this hoax, which I'm referring to it as, got all the way back to the victims' parents. And it's playing a role in their mental state and their mind and their decision making. And please stop reaching out to the victims' families. Stop. And I know people are free to do what they want, and I don't have any control over it, but this is just my opinion. It's gotten way too messy. It's gotten way way too much gray area. Way too many people are involved. It's spiraled out of control. No good can come from it. For real, I sit back and I try not to be biased and I think, okay, what good can come from this at this point in the case? None. We're sitting here. Brian waived his right for a speedy trial. We're awaiting trial. It's going to come in the future. But what good can more creators reaching out to these victims' families and being put in the situation where more screen recordings can happen, more leaked messages can happen, more potential issues as far as what is contained in the leaked messages, just like we saw with the grand jury members in those messages between allegedly Steve and Brad. That's a serious issue. So are you going to do more damage than good? Don't be selfish and, oh, well, I want to debunk this, or I want to, so I'm going to reach out. Listen, put them and their best interest first. People in Delphi right now have gone past just the fam. They're contacting the judge now. Oh, ATS, people are contacting Ann Taylor left and right. People are contacting Shannon Gray left and right. People are contacting the prosecution left and right. If you guys don't think, I've said before, they already monitor what's going on social media. They very much do. They did in the Watts case also. They pay attention. Ann Taylor's looking for exculpatory evidence. You think she hasn't been emailed 1,000,001 things. I told you I'm part of the email chains. I can see for well over a year now them saying this has been emailed to Ann, this has been emailed to other people on the defense team. They absolutely know if there was any validity in what was being stated. You don't think she's going to hop on it? That's what her job is. I think it should speak volumes that nothing has come from it so far. But not just the victims' families are being reached out to, the prosecution, the defense, the judge. But honestly, I'd prefer you do reach out to the prosecution, defense, the judge. At least they can differentiate and verify and decide, is this information we're going to go forward with or not? But the victims' families, do not torment them anymore than they are already tormented. They don't have the tools the way that Ann Taylor does, or privy to that information to where they can say, nope, it wasn't this, or nope, it wasn't that. All they know is that these horrific narratives, people claiming to have been there, coming to them, fake audios of their children being murdered, being sent to them. I don't care if it gets debunked the next day. The damage you're doing to them and the impact, they'll never be the people they were on November 12th. They'll never be the people they were ever again from November 12th. On November 13th, it changed who they were forever. They're fractured. Any hope at peace and grieving, they haven't had the chance to grieve yet. You can't grieve when you don't even know what the fuck happened. You can't grieve when you don't even know if this is the right person. You can't grieve when you have 1,000,001 people claiming it's everybody else in the world and there's this big conspiracy and they have the wrong guy and look this way, look that way. Can you imagine what you're doing to these fucking families? Stop. This is what I mean. No more. Nothing can be taken from this other than your own selfish reasons of wanting to get the inside scoop or wanting to make a video and I have an inside scoop with Steve, or enough. Put these families first, even if they can't make the best decision for their own best interest right now. You make that decision for them because you know it's hurting them. You know it's hurting them in the long run. Step back, know your place, respect the boundaries, do your thing on your channels, but no need to cross that line, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But all right, guys, I'm going to hop off tonight. I apologize again that I left you guys hanging. I swear I changed the time but I must have in my sleep not like actually hit save. So I'm really, really sorry I left you hanging here for so long, and some of you are worried, and I'm so sorry. But I appreciate being able to come live every Monday and hang out with you guys as members, and I appreciate every single one of you guys who support the channel. Whether you were gifted a membership or you're an active paying member, thank you so much for being here and supporting the channel and hanging out with me. I will be on tomorrow for Letitia to start December 2020 calls, and I very much look forward to that. So I hope you all have an amazing night, and I will see you then.